Hello, everyone, and a great welcome here to GPVWC after what has been a very long time of waiting and waiting. The season finally kicks off here, and Formula Sprint 2 is the one to kick off the Career Ladder 2026 season as a whole, in which is this FS2's fifth year as a championship, and it kicks off all here in Albert Park. We've got 32 cars here on the grid as they're going to navigate through the world's most exciting 16 circuits across the world, and it all begins here in Albert Park Circuit with new names and new teams and new championship contenders. It's really anyone's up for grabs here to see who will clinch the crown in FS2 this year. Remco is in here for the broadcast directing side of things, and joining once again alongside me here, it is Lorenzo Eterovic-Funcic. Hello Lorenzo, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you very much for asking. I'm very excited to be here. You know, we've seen some very interesting people appear at pre-season testing. Some are here with us today, some aren't. We've seen some very interesting drivers in Academy last week. We might see them here today as well. And, you know, I think overall, I'm very excited for this season because, again, as you said, new faces, old faces, new championship contenders, massive signings, all of that jazz, all that shebang is here in FS2 this year. So yeah, first round out of 16, let's see how that goes.
Absolutely. We did briefly go through the team's lineup in the preseason testing, but with the time slowly ticking down, heading into qualifying in about 7 minutes, we'll have just about enough time to go through the teams that are here and what lineups that they have fielded come through Australia, and also the confirmation of the ones that are doing it full time as well. So do you want to do it the same way as we did before in preseason testing? We'll go through the mainstays and then the new teams?
Fine by me, really, as long as we get it done by practice end.
That's that's fair enough with me. So the first one, the team that we'll stand up towards is the highest placed team that finished last was Hunterbird Simulation. As a result, the English outfit has finally confirmed the services for Leila Petralia and Eric Brenner, both of them which previously made their appearances in Venus and RGS respectively. They're both going to make their full season debuts here in Formula Sprint 2. Pretty an interesting duo, and definitely one that Edward has said a lot of praise of, so definitely keep an eye out for them in my guess. Orbit Motorsports definitely may seem to be, at least by the analysts, to have the strongest of the lineups, and practice definitely seems to be that the case. Ben Skinner looking to try and be a championship contender this time around, does seem to be the favourite, but also as a favourite would be Casper Kurtz. That's also seemed to be as strong as Ben Skinner, but sometimes a bit inconsistent, so we'll see how these two both fare off this season round. Next up over for Priority 1, it's Jonas Korala and Craig Patterson. Craig Patterson has won actually back in Hungary, so he's going to hope to continue to get another race win under his belt this season. Jonas Korala, arguably one of the best drivers in the field to have not won a race this season, well, in FS2 at all, so he's going to hope to make this season be the first, Lorenzo.
No, absolutely, I think he can do it as well. Jonas Korala obviously hampered by issues with his wheel last season, which is why he left so early, but I think this year could be a year where he steps up finally and shows what he's made of. And I think it'll be interesting to say that Priority 1 is starting the 2026 season with the same lineup they started the 2025 season with. It will be interesting to see if they carry out the entire season with that lineup. One team who's kept not their full lineup but a driver from last season is Hot Performance Engineering. Obviously last season best placement for the Dutch team in Formula Sprint 2, finishing 9th. Johannes Slept retained for 2026, however they have brought in a fresh new face to join him in Amir, the Malaysian driver, one of two actually on this year's grid, so it will be interesting how he does. Obviously a new name on the GPWC grid overall, having only done one prior race last week at Istanbul Park in the Academy Series, where he performed quite well, I would say. Mapes VO, the oldest team in Formula Sprint 2, going all the way back to the early 2000s. They have arguably the strongest lineup on the grid. Well, one of the strongest drivers at least on the grid. apologies, who isn't here today. Nikola Latkovsky is confirmed to be doing the full season with Mapes, however, is unable to drive today due to, well, work requirements, and he is replaced for today by the Polish driver Jakub Tonaska, who, to my knowledge, has not done any race at all in GPVWC before that. However, the other driver who's been retained from 2025 is Samuel Sladov, who did disappear a tiny bit into 2025, but he did have some good performances in Academy Series in 2024, as well as in the early part of 2025. Will be interesting to see if the pace has left him, Amir.
Yeah, very interesting there for Mexvio. Another one going up right down through the order. Scuderia Ficcia Nera. The Italian teams also have retained their lineups from the second half of the season. Andrei Canale and Victor Bernat both staying to the team. Victor Bernat now team owner for Killer Racing, which we'll go on through to that, but both of them did do very well. Bernat recorded 3 podiums in his debut season, and Andrei Canale did find the consistency that he was definitely been looking for at the second half of the season. So good lineup from these two. VMS Sun Edits Racing, Van der Smissen still stays on to his own team, and David de Vries is the one that joins alongside him, so still retain the full Dutch lineup as both of them, as VMS starts for its 4th season here in Formula Sprint 2. ST Racing, the most consistent in FS2. They've been here since about 2010, and Mark Fuller will retain Mihailo Vincievich at one of them, and he will be joining alongside Hanko Miesbis. He had last appeared for GPVWC back when this was called the Formula Challenge. Back then he recorded 4 podiums in his last 4 seasons for the series, so a bit of a return to form and a little bit of a veterans team ST Racing is. And that's conclude for the ones that at least stayed, and that will bring us again to the new ones. That one, Aquila Racing, is the one that I've mentioned. Used to previously race in the Circuit Competizione at iRacing. Bernat holds for David Yunt and Salagi on that one. So Salagi is here, David Yunt is not, so we're going to look to see if they will have a time for a replacement. I think it's just confirmed to be Resh Thoma, who's previously did LMU experience, and quite an interesting talent, I would say, Lorenzo, and definitely a one to look out for. Chimera Racing, on the other hand, they had come to it very, very last minute, but the only Asian team on the grid, Albert Berenger, did manage to fill off Rafael Arim and Andy Park. Andy Park has only had about 2-3 races of R Factor 2 experience, but from looking at today, he definitely seems to be one of the contenders for a podium in his first GPVWC outing. Rafael Arim has done fairly well a bit, so he struggled just a little bit, but I think we've had time to tell. With about 90 seconds to go, there's still opportunity for the Swedish driver to improve. And wanted to go for the next team?
No, yeah, absolutely. The next new team is Elk International, and I see why now you have given me the reins over them. Elk International, one of 2 Irish teams here in FS2. We can already see one of their drivers here, Mika Hakimi, as aforementioned, one of 2 Malaysian drivers on the grid, and obviously a massive name for the team. Has not done that much in GPWC before, but he's a race winner in Formula Sprint 2, so it will be interesting if he can repeat that success in this year as well. He is joined by the Italian in Ayman Asabir, who has only done 1 prior round in the Academy Series last year at Donington Park, so it will be interesting to see how he fares with this step up in cars. The next team after Elk International is Emerald Overdrive. The American outfit is not fielding any American drivers, as a matter of fact. They're fielding last year's, I'd say, a bit of the most underrated driver of 2025 in my personal opinion. Faiz Youngstra has joined Emerald Overdrive, and he is joined by Dan Hayek. The Czech driver is finally back in Formula Sprint 2 after, I think, 1 or 2 years away. So I do think it'll be interesting to see how they also do in this season. I think they have a fairly strong lineup. Not quite title contenders, but I think they'll be up there challenging for podiums and top 5s throughout the season. One team who I think can be touted as championship contenders is Fox Esports, run by James Knox, who obviously raced in Formula Sprint 2 himself last season with Excellion Motorsports, who have moved up to Formula Sprint 1, but that's a topic for Thursday. They have a full Norwegian lineup in former Hunter Bergerave, Magnus Hockenhaug, and in Christian Glomsetter, who completed last season with Orbit Motorsports. So yeah, obviously a very strong lineup, and I do think they are up there with Orbit Motorsports and potentially even Mapes VO and Emerald Overdrive as the 4 strongest teams. I think Priority 1 are also in that talk as well. McKenna Racing, the second Irish outfit, I don't think we'll have enough time to see them on track, seeing as practice has ended, but McKenna Racing are fielding a very strong lineup in the Polish driver Filip Czerwinski, who many people have on their cards as, well, not doing that throughout the season and being one of the main contenders for the title. But he is joined by the Finnish driver in Juho Soponen, who I think, or well, I do hope we do see a bigger step up from him in his performances this year compared to last year. Obviously, some better performances last year compared to others, starting in FS1, moving on to FS2. But I do think it could be a year for him to finally shine through. McManus Motorsports, the last new entry for 2026, and the Scottish outfit ran obviously by the Academy Series mainstay Carl McManus. They are supposed to be fielding Alfie Denley and Shimon Kanda throughout the entire season. However, Shimon Kanda did encounter some issues with his game for today, meaning that for Melbourne he will be replaced by Alex Day, who, again, moving back into FS1 talks here, was supposed to start the season with Hugh Performance in Formula Sprint 1. Hugh Performance, not HUD Performance. But due to various factors, he is now with McManus Motorsports here today. So it will be interesting to see if he gets kept on or if Shimon Kanda returns and how they do throughout the season and not just today.
That's all 16 teams, 15 teams, and GPVWC Academy. Unsure if they'll be able to have enough time to fill drivers, but we'll just have to wait.
Oh, well, they do have Mani Kandan for today.
Oh, they do? Okay, that's...
they do have Mani Kandan. It was Mani Kandan was originally supposed to be one of 2 drivers for the Academy team today. The other driver who was supposed to be here today for the Academy team is David Granville, both of who competed in the Academy race last week at Istanbul, and both of whom I would say impressed. However, David Granville obviously living on Cyprus, and unfortunately due to world events not being able to compete today. So, I mean, the only thing we can say really is I do hope that he, as well as everyone in that general area, geographical, is doing okay.
Yeah, all our wishes to Dave Granville in this difficult time. 15 minutes is now ticking and qualifying begins now. You can see there on Ben Skinner's rear flap, the DRS is available to the FS2 drivers for this year, and this is going to, as we've said before in pre-season testing, make the racing all the more interesting, and won't just be effectively lead and defend as much as you can. Sometimes you, with the DRS there, it's going to make overtakes all the more probable, and I think Melbourne will definitely be one of the tracks that we can see a lot of overtaking happening here, especially come through turns between turns 2 and 3, 16 and 1, and then also I think it is 12 and 13. Oh no, it's here for 10 and 11 is where the DRS is here, and turn 11 definitely seems to be a very, very a corner to definitely witness, in my opinion, Lorenzo. But Ben Skinner and company as well, everyone is on the private qualified session here, so everyone's got their track to themselves, and just utilize and warm the track as much as you possibly can is really the name of the game here in qualifying.
Yeah, as per usual, prior to qualifying here in Formula Sprint 2 and just in general throughout the GPWC career ladder and in the Academy Series as well, prior to qualifying. But that doesn't mean that the margin for error is any smaller. Obviously, drivers cannot escape back to the pits once they're out on track. They can only do so once they enter the pit lane, meaning that if they do cause themselves significant enough damage while on track trying to set a fast lap, and they are unable to get back to the pits, that means their qualifying session is over. So obviously, margin for error as big, you could say, in game as in real life. But yeah, you mentioned DRS is available to the drivers, a new addition for the 2026 season. And I think we'll see quite a lot of overtakes with DRS here at Melbourne, obviously with 3 DRS zones. And the slipstream, from what I saw during public practice, seems to be quite strong paired with the DRS. So I do think we might see a situation where we might even have 3 wides down the back straight or down the front straight. Will be interesting to see if that does happen. But what is happening right now here is Ben Skinner setting the track alight with purple sector 1s and 2. Seems to be the main contender for pole position as it stands, Amir.
Yep, David de Vrij, I think just had him beat 33.009, and Jonas Corella 21.966. So that's just waiting for one full record. But with Ben Skinner going to go for across the line, he will take provisional pole position first, as he'll be the first car, I believe, to go across the line. As we await for the cars to do that, and Alex Day. There you go. Ben Skinner does set provisional pole 35.4. A very decent start in the regards to qualifying. We expected to see it go much quicker though, and that will definitely come as the track will get warmer. Jonas Corella pulls on through to second place. David de Vrij in third. Thijs Youngstra fourth. Alex Day with McManus, really impressive for him, in fifth. Christian Glamset is sixth. Hakimi seventh. Manamani Kanda, look at that for the Academy driver, in eighth. Craig Patterson makes it for priority 2 and 9, and Amir Hazik completes her for the top 10 at the moment.
And the entire top 10 is within a second so far, although there's still 11 seconds left in qualifying. Filip Czerwinski, as we can see here, purple sector 1, so he could be on for a very good lap time here, possibly to topple Ben Skinner as well. But again, as I just mentioned, just under 11 minutes of qualifying left now, so we can't really expect many things to be already decided. David de Vrij, obviously in P3 currently. We've not seen much of VMS in pre-season testing and just in general throughout the winter break. They did have a couple of good rounds towards the latter stages of last season. Obviously David de Vrij winning in Mexico race 1, I think it was. So yeah, it is very interesting to see that they are back to where they ended off last year. And Filip Czerwinski also seems to be picking up from where he left off, as he's set purple sector 2 as well, and I think he might be on for a provisional pole here. No, only good enough for fourth. So he's lost some major time in sector 3 that, well, hampered his charge for the provisional pole position. Christian Glomset has gone up into 5th. Justin van der Smissen up into 14th. David de Vrij is fallen down to 6th with everything that's been happening. Amir Hazik back up into 13th. So very interesting grid as it stands, with just under 10 minutes, or well, now almost 9.5 minutes left of qualifying, as we follow Mihailovic and Tijaric. I think the longest standing Formula Sprint 2 driver this season. Currently 21st, did improve on his personal best in sector 2, however, as we can see by sector 1. He's not improving on this lap time, so he's going to be going for another go.
That was a big mistake in the first sector, which cost him that 11 seconds. David de Vrij, as you said, a race winner in his debut come last season. I'm not sure if it was unlikely, but I think it's definitely caught a bit of us by surprise on how great David de Vrij is doing. The fact that he's just ever so slightly on the edge of the top 5 and could go even better, 1/10 faster in the first sector and half a tenth faster in the second sector. It's just the third sector that he needs to go as he navigates through turn 14 of Stewart, through to the final 2 corners, down to 315, the 90-degree left-hander of Prost, then coming over through to the final corner. He's banned that lap, so he must have invalidated the track limits in some way. Thijs Youngstra has also called it quits.
And it's interesting that Thijs Youngstra called it quits, as he did get purple in sector 2, but so has his teammate Dan Hayek, and he's gone green in sector 1 as well. So do you think Dan Hayek... No, not quite. He's made a mistake somewhere in sector 3. So Dan Hayek, obviously, with a green sector 1 and a purple sector 2, not managed to improve. But we see a lot of people now doing green sector 1s and purple sector 2s, and Rekinali has done it as well. So that's, I think, the third person in a row we've gone on board with now who's done that. So we'll be interested to see if Andrei Kinale can get it across the line and improve from his current P25. As we did see earlier a bit, Samuel Slav up into P14, but let's focus on Andrei Kinale for now. Will he be able to improve on his P25? And he is. He goes up into P8. So that's currently a P7 and P8 for the Scuderia Freccianera. The Scuderia
Fantastic
Freccianera,
lap there.
apologies to the Italians.
Fantastic there from Freccianera. That will put, as you said, the green team in 7th and 8th respectively. Tanasco excellent, going over through to the final corner. I'm sure if he'll be able to commit to it or head into the pits. I think he's heading to the pits. He is. So that's unfortunate there for the Matesfield driver. Meanwhile, Samuel Slavev just on the brisk of the top 15 at the moment, but is looking to do 4-1 better. Just a couple of corners to go. I think he's also slowing down. I'm wondering what's happening. I wonder if it's the track limits come for 11 and 12 that's catching people off here, Lorenzo.
It could be. We do have a new laser scanned version of the track for this round, and we did see a couple of people raise concerns about the curbs for the track, and obviously we saw Samuel Slavev slow down because of that.
No,
Alex,
he's not. He's actually got up to 9th.
Oh, he has gone up to 9th. Apologies. I'm not looking properly. And Samuel Slavev has split the Freccianeras, so he's now in P9, while Bernat and Kinali occupy P8 and 10. Alex Day has not improved on his overall lap time, but it set yet another purple sector 2. Rafael Erhem has moved up into P18 provisionally, having improved on his lap time, but is still just over a second slower than pole position. Hansko Mebius has improved on his lap time and he's gone up into P23. And as it stands, only 3 people have not done lap times yet, those being Kasper Kuritz, Alfie Denley and Eric Brenner. Although I don't think Kasper Kuritz and Alfie Denley will be doing lap times, as they are both, well, going into this round with outstanding penalties. Alfie Denley with a 50th place grid penalty, and no, Alfie Denley with a 30 grid place penalty, and Kasper Kuritz with a 50 place grid penalty. So only Eric Brenner left to do a lap, as Ben Skinner is improving on his with a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 2. However, look at those margins, Amir, they're so small. 0.0.
Oh my goodness me!
And that's how small the margins are. Again, as I was saying just now, it was barely purple in both of the first 2 sectors, and just a bit too much of the curb. And that looks to have ruined his lap time. He's still validated, but I don't think he'll improve.
We'll see just how much that has cost him if it is that heavy.
Massively.
And that is really heavy. Yeah, Jesus, my word. Jonas Kerala, purple in the middle sector. Can he go fast enough in the 3rd sector to take away Ben Skinner's pole lap time? No, he cannot. He cannot. He was a 10th slow again. It's really hard here at Albert Park to really string the laps together. Christian Glamstetter, yellow all around and will continue to be yellow. Mika Kimi is looking for improvement in the first 2 sectors, as he's about a 10th quicker than his fastest lap time just through the final sector to go. I think that was Van der Smissen breaking into... No, that's Eamon Asiba going into the top 10, I believe. But looking over for Mika Kimi, and you could just see on the left-hand screen, everyone is improving and places are just being shuffled around. But the Malaysian driver exits that through to the final corner. What can this Elk International driver do, as Mika is going to go for across the line? It's going to be pretty close. Up in a P4! Wow!
And Victor Bernat moved up into P5 at the same time as well. So we had 2 people barge their way into the top 5 at the same moment. I think Hakimi set his lap time at the same time as Bernat, but obviously faster by 0.04. So Bernat just about edged out for P4 there as it stands. Philip Chawinski now, who's dropped all the way down to P6 after that. Purple in sector 2 and green in sector 1, and I think he wants that top 3 at the very least. But I think he's going to be going for pole here, Amir, and I think he might just be able to get it out of the final turn with the DRS open now. And I think he'll be able to get it, you know, just about barely.
No, he couldn't. He
Good
couldn't.
enough for 4th.
So close though, 1/10 off, and again it's just Remco is obviously looking around for all the drivers to see who's improving, because it's absolute chaos here, Lorenzo, and this is just goes to show just how hectic and competitive this FS2 grid. The fact that we gained such purple sectors all around. Mika Kimi gone purple in the middle sector though.
He has, and again, we've seen so many people set purple times in sector 2, and he goes onto the gravel there, so that's gonna be per lap ruined, if not invalidated. And I think Mika Kimi will only have one more chance at a lap time here, and he doesn't go into the. He goes into the pit lane, so he only has one more hot lap left. And again, we talked about the curbs with this new laser scanned version of the track. So obviously, the curbs seem to be gaining the drivers time in sector 2 because there's obviously less of them with how the track flows. But in sector 3 they seem to be so costly, and Leila Petralia there I think just overshoots it maybe, as she does do a slight drift through the penultimate turn, and she might improve on her lap time, but no, she does not do that either.
No, absolutely not. Just about 2 minutes left to go. Ben Skinner purple on the first sector, although he's just about 500s off, and he's called it into the pits. I don't think the people that are going to the pits will have enough time to do another lap, but I could be very much wrong. Dan Hijack, meanwhile, 3,000s into the middle sector, and he's just hit the gravel again, and that is going to cost him big time for the Czech driver. These people that are going purple in the first or second sectors seem to have that corner into a sky that seems to undo all their hard work, Lorenzo. But Dan Hijack is still going to go at full force and see if there's anything that he can rescue from this lap time, and there isn't any, because it's just far too costly. It's 2 seconds off. Andrea Canalia on with him. He's managed to nail through a sky and looking to be a net 1/10 faster than his current lap time, so quite enough to break into the top 10. If just got this final corner left to go for the Italian driver, and is Andrea going to follow along with his teammate in Bernat into the top 10? We'll have to wait and see. Can he do it? No, he can't. It's just not. No, it's not getting close enough. It's not close enough.
It's not close enough, no. And we've seen so many people now again. I feel like a parrot repeating myself, but we've seen so many people go purple in sector 2. I think half of the grid has done that. And again, we see Craig Patterson going purple in sector 2. But again, sector 3 seems to be so costly. For all of these drivers, it's where they lose the most time out of any other place on the track. And it's all mostly at that corner, turn 11, where taking too much exit curb just ruins you. And it's less so turn 12, but turn 11 is where most drivers seem to lose most of the time. And I think it'll be remain to see whether Craig Patterson is another victim of that, having gone purple in sector 2 and green in sector 1. The time is now over, and he goes P7, and that's as high as he can go, really. Yunus Karola, his teammate, up into going into pit lane, again a purple sector 2.
Yep, Ben Skinner, Tyson Youngstra into the pits, and Corallo will follow along suit. So Stravinsky, Hakimi, Hijack, Patterson, De Vries, Glamsetter, and Okenag are all the ones possible to do it. Justin van der Smissen spins around, coming almost in the entry to the final corner, and that will call it quits for the Dutchman, as he'll just have to start at best P15. Magnus Okenag green for the all sectors. Look at that gap though, it's about 2 thousandths of an improvement there. Hakimi purple into the sector. He's nailed for his score. Just a couple of corners left here, Lorenzo.
He has nailed it, but again, we've talked about sector 3 so much. Well, let's not get our hopes up just yet. He was slower on his personal best in sector 1, more so than he was purple in sector 2. So again, we've seen so many purples in sector 2. Will he be able to capitalize off of it? He does set a better lap time, but it does not improve position. He goes down, in fact, as Okenhaug improves. Manu Manikanen also seems to improve on his lap time, but only good enough for P20, toppling Johannes Lepid from that position. Kaspar Kuritz, I mean, he's just doing some late-minute practice really here. He's got a 50-place grid penalty, so he's just doing a leisurely stroll.
Yep, he knows that he'll be starting from the back regardless, but still an eye on him. But Ben Skinner starts off his GPVWC FS2 year with clinching the first pole position here at Melbourne. Thijs Youngstra, very good there by the Dutchman to hold Emerald Overdrive to a front row start for race 1, and Jonas Corella into third upon his return for Priority 1 Esports. Filip Savinski from McKenna Racing in 4th place, with Magnus Okkenhagen in 5th and Mikael Kimi in 6th. Victor Brenat in 7th, with Dan Heinchik in 8th, Craig Patterson 9th, and David DeVries completes over for the top 10 here in FS2. And then outside of that, we're heading over to P11. Christian Glamsetter is the one that holds that place, with Alex Day in 12th for McManus Motorsports, Samuel Slavov 13th for Matesvio, and Eamon Asabir in P14. Justin van der Smissen for Vima Sun Edits in 15th, with Andrea Canalia in 16th. Amir Hazik for Hot Performance in 17th, follows alongside Jakob Tanasco, the emergency for Matesvio, in 18th. Rafael Aram in 19th for Camera Racing beats Manu Manikandan for P20. And then outside of that, we hold on to 21st, Jonas Lepid for Hot Performance Engineering 21st. Mark Salagi for Killer Racing in 22nd. Juho Soponen for McKenna Racing in 23rd. Hansko Mibus for ST Racing in 24th beats Leila Petraliev for P25. Casper Kurtz will be starting from the back, but he finishes in P26 here for qualified underneath Mihailo Vincentievich, or ahead of Mihailo Vincentievich for ST Racing in 27th. Eric Brenn is the last of the completed laps in 28th, and then the people that didn't set for their lap times was Alfie Denley and David Junt for Manus and Aquila respectively.
David Junt having joined the session right at the end there, so he didn't have any time to set a lap time. So obviously no Irish Stammer driving for Aquila today, but David Junt instead, who was supposed to be driving, so he is driving. You know? But we are missing 2 people, so that we are missing one of the Academy cars, and we are missing another car for today. I did not manage to catch who that is.
Camera Racing, I think, and Andy Park that we just seen in the practice did disappear for qualifying, so if he does join, he'll be unfortunately starting at the back. And I'm trying to remember who the other one is as well. I think
David Granville at Academy.
David Granville, yeah, that's true. So that's the 2 missing drivers that were effectively missing on the 32 car grid. But great qualifying session. Ben Skinner is in a GPVWC trivia question as to who clinched the first pole position in the 2026 FS2 season. And with that in mind, now we can move swiftly on to prepare what we can expect for today's race. Yeah, any thoughts or any discussion of topic you'd like to go for here?
Interesting qualifying, honestly. I think we saw some people higher up than both we the commentators and probably the drivers themselves expected. I'll say one thing, and I know that he's going to be listening back to this later on. Samuel Slavov, I know how demotivated he was after pre-season testing and how unhappy he was with how off pace he was. He was so demotivated, really. He put in so little practice expecting to not retain his seat, and now he's qualified in the top 10 for the first round of the season, only half a second off of pole position, which, you know, not blistering, but still better than, well, a third of the grid. So I'm happy for him. I'm genuinely happy for him. And I did see him message me following qualifying, telling me hate watch. So yeah, I know he's listening to this, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
I think all of us are kind of happy to be proven wrong, but I think what we weren't proven wrong here was by far like I don't know. I'm not sure if we like underestimated the FS2 grid or if it was like that, but I think when we expected Ben Skinner to quote unquote run away with it, I don't think we expected qualifying to be as close as it was. But my God, I am so happy, not just for like as a commentator, but I think as a person that's so invested in FS2, that qualifying was as hectic as it was, because it just goes to show just what exciting racing we can potentially have in our hands come Albert Park. And I've actually done a bit of research into Albert Park. Apparently, they have toilets, barbecues, and a playground and a cafe restaurant as its facilities, whenever it's not a circuit. I want to see if they have a menu.
Oh, what would we get of the Albert Park menu?
I don't know. I looked up Albert Park Cafe and there's one in Middlesbrough, so that just goes to show.
See, I don't think we're in Middlesbrough right now. Just a hunch.
I don't think so either. I could be wrong. Remco, can we check if we're in Middlesbrough at the moment? It's hard to tell.
I don't think Remco would care really if we're in Middlesbrough. He's not even aware of what he's talking about. See.
He's not even aware.
The broadcast. No, he can't be here on the broadcast, but he's so tuned out he's not even realised we're talking about Middlesbrough.
There's an Albert Park Deli, but I'm trying to look for the menu for it. They got toasted ham. I don't know if anyone likes toasted ham.
And now he's looking at his Remco.
No, I am doing it. Sandwiches. I was asking if you were a Middlesbrough Remco. Hi Norbert. I see you.
Well, no, but I do think the weather in game is befitting of Middlesbrough, in fairness.
Yeah, that's
it's way
also
too gloomy for
I mean,
Australia. It's way too gloomy for Australia.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not accurate?
We've thought it's not accurate. Oh right, okay.
Alright. Well, no, I don't understand why we couldn't just call up Scott Flack, our resident Australian, and ask him if it's raining over there, even though he's over 1,000 kilometers away from Melbourne.
That's just like contacting someone from California and just say, hey Mike, can you check if it's raining over in New York? That would be massive help.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should do for GPVWC Live Weather. Everyone should have just walkie-talkies and just radio what their weather is. So like here, for instance, it's bloody dark. I can't tell the weather.
Yeah, we just spread pages around. We just spread pages around the entire league, so everyone gets one page, and then we just get weather information like so.
No racetracks, you could probably buy a beer and a bag of crisps for a combined 70 billion Aussie dollars. I agree, Ross. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you're a bit lenient though. I think it's more like $2 trillion. But yeah, have you seen prices in racetracks? They're sometimes affordable, but most of the times they're bloody extortionate. And well, if I was ever president of the FIA, that's definitely one I'll definitely keep an eye on for sure. But I didn't know about that, Remco. Thanks for informing us about the live weather. Our eyes are lying to us. The truth is, no one in the commentary booth will ever know what the weather is ever going to be like. So that's very reassuring. I know it's just for practice, but I'm just saying it for the lulz. What else is there to talk about? Have you driven the FS2 cars?
No, do you really think I'm capable enough of that?
You're capable enough to drive the Academy cars.
Drive is an overstatement, I would say. I DNF'd in both races last week. Speaking of Academy Series, we have a race here at Melbourne next Monday, so if you are not in our Discord server and are indeed interested in driving, please do join us so that you can drive. Please. There's only 4 sign-ups.
5. Or I think there was 5.
Oh, that's better than last night. That's better than last night, in fairness.
That's true. And speaking of all in fairness, big thank you as well to, right on with looking at the MV Conquest. MV Conquest has been a sponsor here for the GPVWC, hence why you can see all the logos. They're our new sponsor for the season, so big thank you to Mihailo Vicentivic's MV Conquest for sponsoring upcoming for the GPVWC 2026 season as a whole. And for if you want your logo as well here in GPVWC, do give us a bit of a message here via email or via Discord to one of our management. And well, everything helps. Any little helps really in GPVWC. But we are very we're happy for any support really. But I've realized the laps are 15 and 15. That's
yeah, it should not be.
It's 90 kilometers for race 1 and 90
70
kilometers
for race 2.
75 for race 2. It's
It should be 18 for race 1,
14,
shouldn't it?
18 and 14 for race 1 and race 2. But yeah, so it's about a 4-lap difference. And the other talk about difference as well. FS2 will also hold on to the FS1 point system from last season, so that means the races gets just a little bit longer, but the points are a lot more rewarding. And joining that point system along with FS1 also makes the comparisons between the leagues a lot more easier in terms of skill set wise, because it's on the similar points. So that's all good news, and that's been again a big feature heading into the new era here for Formula Sprint 2, as you see one of the MCOs just swiftly going off track and going for a bit of a beach holiday.
Yeah, I must say that was a nice segue you did there as well.
Yeah, if you want a beach holiday, come to Melbourne. Yeah.
No, not the gravel, I'm talking
good.
about the points.
Oh, I don't know about the points. Warm-up is going to end in about a minute, so lots of guesses to see who will become a race winner or will be the first ever race winner here in Formula Sprint 2. Who do you have your money on?
I'm not going to put my money on anyone, because as you saw in qualifying, the grid is so bunched up together, we've got so many good drivers. You said that we thought Ben Skinner was going to run away with it. At no point did I think of that, because I do know what these drivers are capable of. I know what drivers are feeling here. We saw Ben Skinner, we saw Face Youngster, they were within 800ths of one another. Jonas Kaurala was also close by. Filip Czerwinski was also there. Mika Hikimi was also there. Kasper Kuris, he might not be in contention for race 1 because of the grid penalty, but I think he might well be in contention for race 2. Dan Hike is there as well. Who do we have? We have Magnus Hockenhag. We have... You could even put someone in like Alex Day or something like that, because the grid is so full of quality this year that you really can't expect who's just gonna win it, because there's no one person who's gonna run away with it. I think we're gonna have some lovely fights, not just today, but through the entire season. So it will be interesting to see who wins the first fight.
I think the interesting thing as well for FS2, I feel like everyone has their yang. I don't think anyone is unrivaled for whatever position they're in. Which, so like even at the back, you still got other competitors fighting with you, which I think is going to be such good watching for the viewers and us commentators, and also for the drivers after they finished racing and just watched and said like, oh, look at that fight. That fight was absolutely great. I think there's also a bit of new rules as well in regards to some racing, in regards to like overlaps and overtakes. So that has been in place as well for this season as well. I think it's been a little bit of an iffy situation with previously last year, but I think with the rules this year, it's going to make it more simpler and produce much more exciting racing, I think, than last year. The warm-up is now done, and we're going to gently wait for the race organizer to conclude for the briefing for one last time, and then to grid everyone up to their respective starting positions. Again, to keep in mind, we do have grid penalties set from last season and also from the last race. So those did apply last time, like back in Abu Dhabi, will be applied for here. So one of them obviously was Kasper Kuris, that did suffer through a 50-place grid penalty back over in the Italian Grand Prix. Alfie Denley is the other one who suffered 30 places back in Interlagos, and Rafael Arim suffers just 1 place grid penalty in Abu Dhabi. So those are the grid penalties that are in mind. So that means I think Denley will start, I think 29th, Casper Kurtz in 30th, and Raphael will just only be one place lower than what he is. So with that in mind, yeah, I can't wait.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait because Raphael Alham's gone. So I'm assuming we're waiting for him to return.
I think we will. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for him to return. Just very briefly, there is a bit of a grace period for when they're allowed to join and leave. I do believe. I wonder if Andy is still trying to join. I cannot see if he's in the server anymore. So if it isn't, that is such a shame because he was doing so extremely well during practice that we didn't get to see him race. Which is a massive blow for Camera Racing, I think, in my opinion, especially with the original lineup of Gabriel Ramos also not being able to race either. But yeah, we're just going to take very, very quickly. Remco, do you have any predictions for who will win? I'm probably scared him because he. Oh no, there. Jonas Kerala. He's gone for Jonas Kerala. Wow, not bad.
I mean,
yeah.
Again, there's so many good draws this year that it could well happen, but I just don't think it'll happen yet. I think it'll take about 3-4 rounds maximum until Jonas Kerala finally gets his win. But again, Samuel Slavov's proved me wrong. I'd love for Jonas Kerala to prove me wrong as well.
I do think we'll be proven wrong, but again, if what we've seen from qualifying is true, then I did say this during preseason testing how there's 6-7 like race winner contenders.
Yep, cheers.
Not the meme. Not
Get
the
on with
goddamn
it.
meme.
Relay your thoughts.
I meant it seriously. You can't do this, Lorenzo. You can't bully me like this. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I'd say it's acceptable.
It's not acceptable. Chat. It's just not acceptable.
No, I'd say it is.
I'm reading over through for the chat. One thing I found super good for the Monzo was free water fountains. So if you had a free bottle, if you had a water bottle, you basically had free water.
What would you?
Sounds.
Whatever.
That's so sad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That really sounds sad. The fact that the only thing that was free is water. Oh man, that's sad. But the fact that's the bare minimum as well is what makes it even sadder. I think there should be more to offer than just free water fountains. I'm just trying to see what else we had seen. Let's see a pile up. I doubt there's going to be a pile up. I doubt there's going to be a pile up here. Event arrived. Leave it. Alfie Denley's arguably the best driver in FS2. You heard it here right. He's got a lot of money on his hands for if he gets a podium. So we'll see.
He's got about 60 quid lined up if he gets a podium.
60 quid. Wow, that's impressive.
Well,
and
didn't you say 50?
I did.
And then James Nog said it on another 10.
Oh my goodness me. Monza was expensive as heck. Oh, that's such a shame. Monza racetrack shouldn't really be expensive. I know it's a rich person sport, but shouldn't be expensive. Accessible for everyone. Accessibility is what wins you fans. If that's the way to go for it. But yeah, we just has Raphael joined back?
No, I don't think he has.
That's gonna.
I mean, there's only so much time we can
delay. Yeah.
No, there we go. We've summoned him.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
He owes $60 for delay, Remco said. Okay. Well, he's back, which is good, and with the same amount of drivers that we've had previously qualifying, that means we can gently move on to the race, although it does mean we just have to reorganize the grid before we head on to the formation lap in just a minute. I've got confirmation from one of Andy's friends that Andy might make it, so fingers crossed. If he doesn't make it, then he can still attend race 2. But yeah, just fingers crossed that he can make it, so we can have another potential race winner in hand. For context, Raphael didn't realize the formation lap was not included in the race distance, so underfueled the car. Ah, I see. Wait, why? Oh, huh? Wait, what?
What?
No, that doesn't make sense because you're in the warm up. Why would you change the fuel? Am I confused?
I know you confuse me. It doesn't matter though, because we're going into the race now, aren't we?
I think we should be. There we go. Yep.
Yep,
That's fine. To kick off for the new era as well, we've got a new splash screen to swiftly move us on to the races. So with that in mind, here is the screen.
Oh.
Ready. All right, and with that in mind, the grid is going to slowly start to form up. Everything is organized, just waiting for everyone to get into their respective positions. It's an all green front row with Ben Skinner, but Elmo's Overdrive, the highest placed of the new teams, starts alongside Ben Skinner and Philip Savinsky in the McKenna Racing. So I've realized for the new teams, four of them are, well, in the top 6, 4 of them are new teams, which is honestly really impressive.
Well, yeah, again, we talked earlier on, and we keep going on about how close the grid is this year, so I don't think it's any surprise. But speaking of the grid for today's race is as follows. If we can have the graphic grid, please, Remco. Thank you very much. Ben Skinner, the first person on pole position in the career ladder this year, with Faiz Youngstra joining him on the front row. Jonas Carroll in P3 and Philip Chavinsky in P4. Magnus Hockenhaug P5 and Mika Hakimi in P6, with Victor Bernat in P7 and Dan Hayek in P8. In P9 is Craig Patterson with David Vrij rounding up the top 10. Christian Glomsetter in P11 and Alex Day in P12. P13 goes to Samuel Slavov and Ayman Asabir in P14. Justin van der Smissen in P15 and Andrea Kinaya in P16. In P17 is Amir Hazik, in P18 Jakub Tonasco, P19 Mano Manikandan, P20 Rafael Erham, in P21 is going to be Johannes Lepet, Mark Siraji in P22, Juho Sopanen in P23, Hansko Mebius in P24, P25 is Leila Petralia, P26 Mihailo Vicentievich, P27 Eric Brenner, P28 David Junt, and then P29 is going to be Alfie Denley, and P20 and P30 is Kasper Kuric. So we are going to be missing 2 drivers today, in Andy Park for Camera Racing team and David Grant for the Academy Series team. But still a good attendance, I would say, for the first round, obviously.
Yeah, it's good. Of course, not in full force, but still perfectly fine. And all the 30 cars are slowly going to start lining up here. Ben Skinner parks himself onto the outside line, approaching into turn 1. With alongside him for Thijs Youngstra and then Jonas Corella in third, and that is Philip Savinsky. The start really matters here in Albert Park. 18 laps here is going to kick off the first race here in the GPVWC career ladder. Who will come out on top here in 18 laps? Who will be called themselves the first ever FS2 race winner here in 2026? The lights are off and we're underway here at Albert Park. Decent start there by Thijs Youngstra. He beats Ben Skinner off to the line, and it's going to be the Moldova driver that's going to lead down to turn 1. Ben Skinner hoping to try and reclaim it back, and he does so. Very the inside line of turn 2. A fantastic overtake to retake the lead. A bit of a yellow flag in the background, but still all good up front as Filip Savinski coming under pressure from Magnus going to be side by side over there, and Thijs Youngstra tries to look over round for Ben Skinner. Under pressure there from Jonas Kerala as they navigate over through, pushes him off just a little bit. Down over through turn 5, and Jonas Kerala barely holds onto the inside line to try and fend off for Youngstra, but it's unable to do so. As further back, a little bit of a squeeze there by Ockenhag, but he still holds on for the 5th. Jonas Kerala goes a bit off, and that will lose P3 as Savinski gets himself a position. Fantastic start here, Lorenzo.
Absolutely fantastic start as well, as you said, Amir. And we see Mika Hakimi now, who had a very slow start off the line, dropping down to P7. Victor Bernat was the one who overtook him off the line, but Mika Hakimi doesn't seem to be giving up just yet. Magnus Ockenhag also seems to be wanting to improve on his position as Thijs Youngstra goes around. Thijs Youngstra goes around, so is off into the gravel as well. That's what's up.
No, Thijs Youngstra has got back off into the racing line. Might be hectic contact there. Absolutely unfortunate. Magnus Ockenhag up against Savinski. Savinski looks around for the outside cut for Ascari and is going to hold on through. He won't be able to do so. Bernat able to get through to P3. Won't do so. Savinski goes off a little bit. Come through to the final corner, and Jonas Kerala going to try and make the overtake through to P4. Super close, intense action here, and still only lap 1, Lorenzo.
And Magnus Ockenhag seems to have got a bit of a gap now to the drivers behind him, and Filip Chaminski seems to be swerving, so he's very unhappy with what has happened there. Thijs Youngstra now in P22, but I think he was not the only one affected there. I think that was Alex Day who also went off into the gravel, although I do think we saw a DNF already. But look at the gap that Ben Skinner has already established over the rest of the grid. It was Mihailovic and Tivic and Manu Manikandan who are now our first 2 DNFs of the season. So I think that was the 2 of them involved back behind Thijs Youngstra. As you see, Ayman Asabir, who's gained quite a lot of positions on this first lap, and that was Dan Hayek in the back, taking a bit too much of turn 4, and he's going to be dropping down now, and he's dropping down so far, and he's without a front wing. So Dan Hayek was involved in a collision somewhere in the first sector, but it's unbeknownst to us with whom and how. But he's going to be losing so many positions now as he trudges his way back to the pit lane, and that's heartbreak immediately on the first race of the first round for Emerald Overdrive, who had such a good qualifying, and it's all gone downhill for them immediately as we go into our replays now to see what exactly happened to Dan Hayek. And that just looked like netcode, as no, that was not netcode. He was just bump drafted by one of the VMS Sun edits. I think that was David de Vrij, who, I mean, that's just not right, is it?
I think it was, or it was.
I think that was David de Vrij.
Might have been Van der Smissen, I think it was, that happened. Thijs Youngstra, this is what I was curious about, because I thought I saw Thijs Youngstra when he went off track. I thought he went back into the racing surface, which if that's the case, then that's not going to be very good, because you meant to hold the brakes. Oh, good. Oh, dear, no. My lord. No. Goodness me, that was so close. And you can see in the background, that was Vicentijevic as well. That was Vicentijevic, and Manu Manikandan also went off coming through turn 12. So that's why I was screaming, because I thought Youngstra almost certainly looked to almost cause a monumental accident, but to the quick reactions to the drivers involved, luckily there wasn't any more damage to that Dutchman's car.
And I mean, we talked about Casper as Jonas Kerala takes a bit too much of turn 6 there and goes through the gravel. He has to be careful with that, because we saw how strict the track limits are throughout the entirety of this track. If he keeps that up, then he will have a drive-through penalty, and that's going to cost him dearly. But we see Thijs Youngstra obviously and Dan Hayek, the 2 biggest losers in terms of positions. But look at Casper Kuris, who's already gone up 10 positions in the first 3 laps. Juho Sopanen has also gained 9 positions. Mark Silagi's gone up 7 positions. Eric Brenner's gone up 8 positions. So we've had major winners and major losers. Leila Petralia seems to be joining that group of losers as she's just DNF'd. We've now got 4 DNFs as Alex Day has had some sort of incident while we were looking at the replays. And I mean, we've got only 26 drivers left now. Something's happened between Kuris and Brenner. Kuris and Brenner have been involved with one another in a non-positive way, and can we take a look at what's happening over there? There's
We've got
still the
a
other
lot
flag
of
in sector
repeats.
3.
We've
Eric
got
Brenner is in the
Brett.
middle of the
Oh, my
track
word.
with no front wing. And I think that's both of their front wings. And yes, Kasper Kuris is without a front wing going into the pit lane, and he's going to be DNFing. He's not going to be finishing this race.
Kasper, who's trying to look to captivate his performance of the race too, has really gone off on the back foot here. And honestly, it almost seems to be in the point of survival. Jonas Kerala into the inside against Victor Bernat. This is going to be for the P3. Ben Skinner has run away with it, and that's obviously not a surprise, especially when you consider the fact the amount of fighting that was going here outside of P1 and the battles for P2. It means that Magnus Ocken is effectively on his own to defend from Bernat, Kerala and Savinski. And with this DRS, it means that the grips are sort of separated a little bit. But look at this, Bernat is going to use for the slipstream and going to try and attempt an overtake against Ockenhag, coming over down through turn 11, through to 12, super close. But the Spanish driver does make a bump over, and Ockenhag, oh my goodness me, that's so unfortunate. Bernat without the rear wing will have to go into the pits. Very unfortunate there for him.
I mean, that's the second time this has happened this race, just a different point on the track, where you have a driver just basically bump drafting another driver off of their vicinity, and the driver affected losing a rear front wing. It was Dan Hayek with a front wing loss, and now it's Victor Bernat with a rear wing loss, and that's very unfortunate for the Spaniard, because that was a lovely move through the fast chicane there of 9 and 10, and that's just not just for me. But it's Philip Szymanski who's capitalized the most out of that, as look at the gap he's already got on Magnus Ockenhag in P3 now. It's 1.5 seconds, as Ockenhag is under attack by both priority ones here, but the priority ones themselves are in a bit of a Fox Esports sandwich, as Ockenhag does go wide and Jonas Kerala does go into P3 for the time being, and now it's Craig Patterson hounding down the other two Fox Esports, as Ockenhag has kept Glomsetter behind him. But Mika Hakimi is also there, and this is a bit of a train forming now, as Kerala has managed to separate himself from Ockenhag. And again, with the slipstream, you really need to stay in the slipstream of the car in front, otherwise the DRS won't be as helpful. And we can see that he has David De Vries now looking to overtake Mika Hakimi, or P7, going into the fast chicane here of 9 and 10. And he's managed to make it work without any contact, so David De Vries up into P7 for now.
Craig Patterson trying to make the overtake against Ockenhag. This is going to be for P5. He does so with the DRS. Hakimi looked to try and take it back against De Vries, coming for a scarring, but I don't think will be able to do so, and has to stay behind the VMS Sunets car for the time being. Still, it is Ben Skinner holds on to his 6.6 seconds, and it is almost 1 second between Savinski and Kerala, just barely, I think, within the DRS section, I believe.
Yeah, the DRS section I think is 1 second for this year for the FS2 cars, obviously well out of DRS range for both of them, as Mark Shilagi is someone who is within DRS range, looking to make a move for P13 here on Ayman Asabia, and makes the move stick. Very lovely move, very clean, and very well textbook, you could say so, from the Hungarian there. But Ayman Asabia is not done with that fight yet. He's looking to gain back that P13, going the long way around turn 3, but he's got the inside line of turn 4. There's slight contact between the two, but it's only bumping tires. There doesn't seem to be any major, well, contact that could cause damage between the two of them, but Maishilagi does keep the P13 for now, and Ayman Asabia will have to wait for the next DRS zone after turn 10 to try and gain back that P13. As David De Vries is looking to gain more than just P7, he's now hunting down Craig Patterson for P6. So Patterson has fallen off away from the Fox Esports pairing and is now defending his P6 from David De Vries. Ooh, very shaky there from the Dutchman.
Shaky, but still at least with a mission to overtake Craig Patterson for P6. And yeah, just very hectic race. It's been still lap 6 out of 18. Skinner still leads, Savinski second, Kerala third, Glamsetter fourth, Ockenhag fifth. So Fox Esports seems to be the biggest winners here at the time being, although they're sandwiched between both priority ones, third and sixth. David Rees seventh, Akimi eighth, Van der Smith ninth, Kinalia 10th, Sopanen 11th. Very great from Sopanen. He's gone up nearly into the top 10. And the Fox Esports, I think, could be in a bit of a battle into turn 1. And Ockenhag makes the overtake past Glamsetter to take that position.
He does, and I think this might be some sort of teamwork here happening between the two Fox Esports, because it does seem like Hockenhaug is the fastest driver for the time being, so he could be pulling Glomsetter with himself. And we just got a message directed at us that the DRS range for this year is not a second, but in fact is 7/10. So even less of a gap between the drivers is needed for DRS to be activated. So if you're above 7/10 behind the driver you're chasing, you will not have DRS, and it does seem like for the time being Hockenhaug is in that zone, and he's just trying to pull Glomsetter with himself away from the train behind off of pure speed, but it's not working so far, as Craig Patterson we see there is still hounding them. He's defended Van der Vrie, and well, De Vries is not clear just yet. He's still there behind Patterson, but Patterson has closed the gap that he had before on the Fox Esports pairing. So we do have a bit of a train here for ourselves, going from P4 all the way down to I think P10, soon P11.
Yeah, I think that's definitely available on the cars. I think they do. It's well, it's of course the slipstream is very valuable, but whenever you hold on to defend from drivers, you kind of grip yourselves together. It makes it slow. In fact, you can see here, there's Thijs Youngstra who's making his way back up for the field. He's currently on P15 at the moment. So if Soppinen joins along with Kinalia in a few laps' time, then this could well truly be from P4 all the way down to P15.
Yeah, so a 10-car train immediately in the first race just shows you how, not only just how close the grid is for this year, but just how interesting the racing will be with these cars, with, well, a train going that long down. And that's P4 to P15, that's 6 seconds between them. So, well, no, it's 6 to 8, I would say. I'm not good at mathematics, apologies to everyone watching, but obviously Thijs Youngstra as well, who we're watching right now, for him to come back from such an unfortunate event that happened to him on the opening lap, to now be in a train stretching 10 cars and in a way to be in contention for a top 5 still, I think that's just commendable of him, as he will have to clear the drivers in front of him first for that, as Ayman Asabi is being cleared by Mike Shilagi at the moment.
Hansko and Raphael also battling up for P16 as well. Thijs Youngstra dummies him, holds on to the inside line, coming over through to the final corner. Is it enough of the leverage to make the overtake against Asabir through to the final corner? Both will have the DRS, but Thijs Youngstra being behind will have the slipstream heading over into turn 1. And Asabir picks his line, holds on through. Thijs Youngstra very carefully makes his way through. Oh, sideways!
Oh,
and makes
no!
contact! And unfortunate there for the Dutchman, as that has unfortunately come to blows. Eamon continues on and will still hold on through to P14, but clearly, very truly has lost momentum here.
He has, and they've both lost so much time on the train, and now they're well and truly out of that fight. But there seems to be a different train now catching up to them, as we go take back a look at what exactly happened here between Youngstra and Asabir. As Youngstra was he just lost the rear, lost no grip at all, and that's just it is on Youngstra obviously, but it's not intentional, and it's just unfortunate that it happened. He's probably still nursing the damage that he picked up from early on in the race. So yeah,
you can see
on his pedal inputs
as well. Yeah. He's trying to recover it and trying to keep it straight, but Eamon being there was no room that Thijs Youngstra could go. I think Thijs also kind of overcommitted as well, and being not on the racing surface makes it all the more harder to recover that. So unfortunately, it was just really bad. Hansko and Jonas, I think, both losing that positions in the process. So Raphael gains on through. Cervinski's caught up to Jonas though, with 8 laps left to go. A chance for McKenna to get P2 in their debut race, and a good one at that. In fact, McKenna's done very well so far, with both of them nearly into the top 10 almost. David De Vries and Justin Van der Smissen still in the midst of their VMS Sun Edits Elk Sandwich at the minute. Hakimi, though, looking over to the outside, come through turn 5. I don't think is going to be there just yet. And you can see that Oakenhag also defending there from Craig Patterson. In fact, I think I see Oakenhag and Glamsetter have pushed themselves apart so that even when Patterson overtakes Oakenhag, they won't be in the DRS. So that's fantastic teamwork, I must say.
Absolutely fantastic teamwork from Fox Esports, and that which must have happened while we were looking at the replay, because I don't recall seeing it on the graphics beforehand, as we see there are people even pitting already, which I was not expecting to happen in this year's season at all, even with the longer race ones, as Magnus Oakenhag, as we mentioned, has been passed by Craig Patterson now. But look at the gap between the drivers in Glamsetter and Patterson now. I think that's more than 7 tenths, meaning that Patterson is outside. No, he's not. He's within the DRS range, so it hasn't worked out in Fox Esports' favor, as Patterson is still within the DRS range of Christian Glamsetter. So now he just needs to get closer with that DRS to be even closer, obviously, to Glamsetter, to siphon even more of that slipstream off of him and try and get himself into P4, because obviously priority 1 after the tumultuous 2025 they had. Would love to start off this year with a double top 5, and I think that they're not the only ones being asked questions here. Obviously Fox Esports' new team on the grid, this would be absolutely stunning for them. The VMS Sun Edits, a team who have underperformed, objectively speaking, in FS2 so far, and they would love to kick off the year strong. Mika Hakimi, I think his first full season in FS2, even though he's been in the series for so long, with a new outfit as well. He would love to start off the year strong for himself and for them. As we take a back look at the replays, and we see Amir has decided to call it quits.
He was suffering a bit. That's the pit stops that we were you were looking at someone making a pit stop, and I think it was unsure what was happening. I think this was a yellow flag heading into turn 1, I believe, that we seen, and I'm wondering if it's a bit of a disconnection where he was just suffering, but no, he seems to be just fine. But that was what the brief yellow flag in sector 1 was about. I did see, I think, a couple of other drivers fall off as well. I think Tanasco was definitely one of them. Someone's fallen off. That's Craig Patterson.
Oh, so something has happened to Craig Patterson. Oh, he's lost his wheel. So Craig Patterson is out of the race, and we talked about how lovely it would be for priority 1 to start off the season strong after last year, and it's just not going to happen as well. That's 5 Youngstra.
Oh no! Oh, that's
and we've
so
lost 2 drivers.
Unfortunate.
We've lost 2 drivers in the span of 15 seconds at the same spot on track, and I don't think there was any contact between Patterson and anyone else. He might have just lost it on his own.
No, Patterson just lost it. He just lost it coming through a scar. That is an understeer and a half. And he's fine. He shouldn't really been on the racing line, but I can't blame him. Tice Youngstra, we already knew, was suffering from damage. Did he overcook it?
No,
yeah,
he just took too much. He
took too much curb.
Stayed too long on it. He couldn't get off of it because of the way it's made, and that just cost him.
The curb's not flat, it's lifted as well, which makes the steering out of it all the more difficult. Mika Hakimi, meanwhile, on the back end of David de Vries, as David de Vries gonna make his goal to overtake Oakenhag, looking, sweeps round for the outside, coming through turn 11. A beautiful overtake there by a Dutchman. Cements it over there. Can Mika Hakimi make it 2 positions lost in a row for Oakenhag? Oakenhag getting his position back. We'll have to see.
Free wide here.
Down to Asmari. Oh. Whoa! So close.
Not quite for Hakimi. They still just about there, but he's given the position over to De Vries for the moment, and he'll have a DRS here on the start-finish straight, but he also does have Oakenhag behind him, who's closer to him than he is to De Vries. So I do think Hakimi will be defending from Oakenhag here as opposed to attacking De Vries. That was a lovely move by the Dutchman, but I do think he'll keep the position for the time being, as obviously Hakimi defending here from Oakenhag has managed to do so, but still closer to Oakenhag than he is to De Vries. And I think De Vries, if this continues on, will be able to run away with P5 as Hakimi will be too busy defending with the train behind him of Ockenhaug and Van der Smissen, and now even Kanaya is joining in.
You just need to defend it ever so slightly. Well, you just need to move on track in the right ways that you don't lose so much time to the car ahead, that you make up for it with the DRS. But that's what's hoping that I think that's what David de Vries is, and Van der Smissen is kind of what they're both begging on here. Ockenhaug, though, does miss out on 2 places, but it's still worthy because Glamsitter is no longer at all in threat from David whatsoever, so that makes it all the more easy for him. Is that too wide going into turn 11? I think it might be. Hakimi himself has got up into P5 as a result from this, but David de Vries trying to look to change that back. He won't have the DRS though this time round, but he has to defend himself from Ockenhaug, who will, and is it going to be enough for the Norwegian to make the overtake, come through to Ascari, turn 13, falling through for turn 14, still going to be going side by side.
Oh no, de Vries around!
Both make contact, and David de Vries has gone off into the gravel trap.
David de Vries spun around there as he drops further and further down. Samuel Slavev almost catching for that P10, but he will have DRS now and more speed as David de Vries obviously recovering from a spin. But I think Samuel Slavev might be able to clear him here on the front straight. Obviously, look at how much more speed he has, obviously, because de Vries is now recovering from a spin. And I think Samuel Slavev is standing here on the inside of turn 1. Goes up into P10, and the Bulgarian finally, seeing the form he started last year with, returned to him, and he's got 4 laps left to defend that top 10 position as we saw de Vries preparing an outside move into turn 3 on Slavev. Well, let's look at what happened while he was on the inside of turn 12 here, and
up on the curb.
Up on the curb and just goes into the side of Ockenhaug. And look at how it came out of it less caved than de Vries did. And let's take a look at that. Yeah,
you could just see like his right front tire was temporarily mid-air, but I don't know if he should have turned more or if Magnus should have gave him more room. It's very, very weird of an incident. I think if David de Vries had more control of it, he would have avoided it. But yeah, taking that curb like that, unfortunately, was not meant to be, and David de Vries, I think, definitely paid a very hefty price from it as a result of that. I was learned that Leila Petraglia, the reason why she's locked down was internet disconnect. So there's that for you to keep in mind. Ockenhaug really struggling, using as much of the track as he possibly can to try and get back his position that Mika Hakimi currently holds at the minute, and Hakimi knows this way he's going to weave a little bit and break the DRS toe just ever so slightly coming to turn 1, but still the highest placed Malaysian at the moment holds on through, out for 1, through to 2, and a little bit of dirty air just pushes Magnus back a little bit, but the DRS is what's he eyeing on for as he's looking around for the outside comfort turn 4, but he's not close enough though.
He's not close enough, and he won't be close enough for a while now, because obviously Ockenhaug is now going to be nursing so much damage from all of the collisions he's been involved with. He probably has nose damage from the collision he had with Youngstra, I think, early on. He has now probably either side pod or suspension damage from the contact he had with de Vries, as well as with the contact he had. I think there was another contact at some point in the race, but point being said, Ockenhaug is nursing so much damage. And no, I'm being proven wrong yet again. Ockenhaug, look at how strong that slipstream is, and even with that, with DRS and slipstream, you can gain so much time on the straights. And again, I said I like to be proven wrong, and I was just proven wrong there live. As Ockenhaug, I was saying he won't be close enough to attack Hakimi yet, and he was so quick down that front straight compared to Hakimi, and he's now back up into P5, and he's got 3 laps to defend it.
Yep, very good overtake there by Ockenhaug to take P5. I think definitely let go of it just a little bit come through turn 11. Mika did, I think, just not hoping to go side by side. But further back, David Yunt, who's still for the Killer Racing, could well truly, he's just ever so slightly on the edge of scoring points, but still seems a bit too far away, because after the overtake on Lepet, then he's got about a 1.5 to catch to Nasco. Speaking of which, Nasco's done pretty well to secure Mapesfield their double points this season, as I think he fell off all the way down to P20, but still recovered, so fantastic there by Jakob, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely nice to see a complete newcomer, obviously, to the league do so well on his debut. I think he's the best of the debutants so far, as in debutants who've not done any races at all within the league.
Amen?
But obviously,
Oh no,
well, no,
right.
Ayman Asabi has done Donington Academy last year, so I think Jakob is the best placed of those so far. And yeah, lovely to see him do well. But there's so many other people doing as well or even better than him, one of who is Mika Hakimi, who's still hounding down Magnus Åkenhaug. And he's so close to him, he's got DRS here, but I don't think it'll be enough to try and attack into turn 12 unless he makes a very audacious dive bomb in the style of Åkenhaug himself, and I don't think he's gonna be doing now, obviously he hasn't. And I think he'll be lining himself up for turn 1 here, Amir.
Up 17 out of 18, just a handful of laps left to go. With that, about 30 so laps, you can just see there Åkenhaug, I think, really is really clearly struggling. I think with all that age fighting that you do, the tire wear is just more prevalent as the laps tick down. No one really challenged Ben Skinner at all since lap 1, in my opinion, and that's not to any fault of the field. I think just everyone was fighting amongst themselves, and Ben Skinner effectively got himself enough distance that he doesn't have to worry about the rest, and the Englishman on set to record for what could be a first of many race wins into this season for him, and a fantastic one for Orbit Motorsports to start off their campaign very strong, which is in their second season in FS2 as well.
Oh, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves too far just yet, obviously. He's on course
It's
to
still
win.
a good start to the campaign, though.
Well, it is a good start to the campaign if he can get it across the line. He's still got, after he crosses the line, one more lap to do. So he's got about 4 sectors left of the track to try and get that win across the line. And Mika Hakimi, who we've mentioned so many times in these last minutes, is still trying to get that P5 across the line. Justin van der Smissen has lost time on the 2 in front and is now defending from Andrea Chinaia for P8. So obviously the Italian, with the Italian outfit, will want some national pride here at the start of the season, and he's doing well so far, but obviously he wants even more. And well, now Ben Skinner has entered the final lap of the race, so he will have one more lap to try and get past Justin van der Smissen. I do wonder if he will be able to do so, and if he does, will he be able to keep that P7 until the end of the race. Van der Smissen moving over all the way to the inside to try and break the toe, and then moving back to the outside, obviously take the normal racing line as Andrea Chinaia follows, but because of that the DRS and slipstream combo didn't work quite as well, and I think Van der Smissen will do that here again as Chinaia has the DRS, but Hakimi has the overlap. No, he doesn't, he was too far back. Or Åkenhaug, he was not aggressive enough to try and take that outside line around Åkenhaug into turn 3, as Åkenhaug was wide out of turn 4 there, and Hakimi is still there. He might try something into turn 6. No, Åkenhaug just yields.
Left it off.
Åkenhaug just yields over to Hakimi, and Hakimi goes up into P5 with just 2 sectors left to go, but Åkenhaug does have DRS, you're right. As we see Ben Skinner, who doesn't have DRS but doesn't need it at this point, 7-second gap over anyone else, and Åkenhaug goes back in front of Hakimi with that DRS and slipstream, and Van der Smissen is also close now as Ben Skinner rounds up an ultimate turn.
Corners. He does, and what a way this is going to start his FS2 season. A first pole position, and he converts that into a first race win here for the 2026 FS2 season. Ben Skinner wins race 1 here at Albert Park. Jonas Corrales second, Cervinski third, Glamsetter fourth. Åkenhaug, I think, just about beats Mika Hakimi. I think there's no more left overtakes that Hakimi can make at the moment, as he will surely be able to cross the line. There it is. Åkenhaug has cemented himself a top 5 finish.
And there's battling between Jakob Tonasco and Rafael Loren for P14, so those two are still battling for the last points really. Jakob Tenaska is currently in front, but we did see some moves between the two of them in this last lap, and Jakob Tenaska looks to be winning that P14 for Mapes View. So double points for the English outfit and the oldest outfit on the FS2 grid on the opening race, as David Junt isn't able to catch Johannes Lepit or Rafael Lohem / Jakob Tenaska for those last points. As we wait for everyone to cross the line, Kasper Kuritz now in P20. I think Alfie Denley and Amir Hazik have both been lapped, so have already crossed the line. I'm not quite sure. No, Alfie Denley is there. There we go. And Amir Hazik has crossed the line indeed. So we just wait for Kasper Kuritz and Alfie Denley to cross the line, and then the race, the first race of the season, is over.
Yep, indeed. Alfie Denley goes out through to the final corner, and that will be, I think, 22 cars that have finished, plus including the ones that finished a lap down. And Ben Skinner and Corolla celebrated. That's definitely been a very good position for the Finnish driver in a way to start his season as well. And Servinski McKenna makes it their first appearance onto the podium as well in their GPVWC debut. A magical moment for all that has been involved in FS2 as the season kicks off underway, as Ben Skinner is the one that can call himself a race winner at the end, with Jonas Corella in second, Philip Savinsky third, Christian Glamstedt to fourth, Magnus Oddkedijk fifth, Fox Esports finishing fourth and fifth, good for them, Mika Kimi in sixth, with Justin Van Smith in seventh, just ahead of Andrea Canali for Freccia Nera in eighth, Mark Salagi, very good for Killer Racing in ninth, with David De Vriek completing over through to the top 10 in that position. Over to 11th, Samuel Slava for Mapesio in 11th, beats Juho Saponen in 12th, Asman Ayman Asabir in 13th, with Jakob Tenasko in 14th, with Rafael Arim in 15th, and then outside of the point scores, Jonas Lepet 16th for Hunt Performance Engineering, ahead of David Junt in 17th, Dan Hajek in 18th, Hansko Mibus in 19th, with Kasper Kuritz completing our through to the top 20. Hansko did DNF at the final lap. Alfie Denley in P21, Amir Hazik in 22nd, who was a lap down. Leila Petralia suffered internet issues and was 2 laps down. She finishes in 23rd. The retirements being Craig Patterson, Thijs Youngstra, Victor Bernat, Eric Brenner, Alex Day, Mihailo Vincentievich, and Mano Manikandan.
I do wonder, because we didn't see quite what happened to Hansko Mebius, but he did DNF, I think, on the last or the penultimate lap, and obviously he didn't change positions that much, but he still finished the... Well, no, did he cross the line and then DNF? Or, because he did have the word DNF next to his name on the graphic, so that one was weird. What exactly happened to Hansko Mebius, I would like to see.
I cannot remember if we saw...
That's not quite off. That's not Hansko Mebius. This is Hansko Mebius. What happened to Hansko Mebius?
Oh, he ran out of fuel.
He ran out... No.
Did he?
I think he ran out of fuel. I think he has run out of fuel. He has.
He has run out of fuel.
Full throttle, run out of fuel.
That is so unfortunate. That's unfortunate there, especially on his ST Racing debut as well. And yeah, that's unfortunate. But great race one, I must say. Very, very fantastic. And well, the question is really who will come victorious in race 2? Who will be the winner of the reverse grid lottery as we await for the results of that? We're going to take a very short break at the meantime as me and Lorenzo both get ourselves a glass of water as we recover from what has been a very exciting race 1. Stay tuned over for race 2. We'll be back in a moment.
Inside a place of... On the next Kelty seat, the coffee beanery, Tyrek.
Flat out. Oh no! Oh no! Who's round? It's Magnussen. Oh, it's going to be a touch moment. It's in the barrier. Oh, they spun. Oh, this is a carnage.
And then Ocon's gonna win.
It's a double pass. Could they take each other off? They don't. And Flax slide. It's a victory for the Tuties!
They touch. They're now. Oh no!
Soriano's gone around and met the wall. Mitchell will go through. Does it go uphill into turn 4? Oh, and round the outside. What a fabulous move.
Frelick will use all of his as well. Here he comes. He makes a move. They touch. They run wide. And Munio's going to get it. We're going 3 wide. Look at
Sing.
contact. Oh, my goodness. The Tyne has lost a wheel.
Time's out.
The dramatic race that we were teeing up the entire time has come to an end.
Thank you very much, Remco, for that fantastic break and also our brief commentary advert as well. The voice of the GPVWC. A big tribute to all of the great commentaries that we've had here on the series, and also to our fantastic broadcast directors, especially the one of Remco Zeeuw, which big thanks to him as well for his broadcast directing work and his head of media stuff as well. So thanks to him. But Yep. The laps have now changed accordingly, thanks to him as well. It's 14 laps heading over to race 2, and we've got our confirmation for our reverse grid. Do you want to confirm the news, Lorenzo, since you say his name better than I do?
Yeah, sure, why not? The reverse grid pole position for today's race is not breaking the curse, so the P11 curse is still ongoing. Unfortunately for everyone watching, I think more so for Toby and Alex, who I think don't care anymore. Actually, they're in Superlights, they're chilling. But
They're literally watching. What are you on about?
I don't think they're gonna care about the P11
Hi,
curse
Toby.
as much anymore.
Hi,
now
Alex.
that they're in Superlights. But anyhow,
No.
reverse grid
No,
pole is going to be P15 in Rafael Erhem. So he did lose P14 on the last lap to Jakob Tonasco, but he did get reverse grid pole out of it. So I think he's got the better end of the stick here for race 2 at least.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's good that Camera Racing is I think started on reverse pole. I think it's just a question of whether if Rafael can do well come through race 2, which I think he has a possibility of doing it. So yeah, I think there was a lot of drivers I think throughout that race that really did surprise me in some ways, but yeah, just the fighting that we've seen already at the start just makes me all the more excited to come for race 2. And yeah, so a lot of the, I think P15 is quite good as well, because that means everyone from P1 to P15 is reversed as we watch ST Racing swiftly move out through turn 12 in what is a beautiful pirouette, I must say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, obviously, we got a lot of newer guys on the grid this year, and 2 of them are going to be making up the front row, so it will be interesting to see how the start of race 2 goes, and whether they'll keep the positions that they've inherited from the reverse grid pole positions. I don't think they will personally. I think they'll still be able to secure some points, but again, I love to be proven wrong, but I just don't see either Erhem or Tonasco staying within the top 5 at the end of the race. Even though it is 4 laps shorter, so, 4 laps less of defending, but I just don't think they have it in them quite yet. Maybe down the season, but for now, I do think that the drivers starting further down will be able to climb back up. And speaking of the season, here's our lovely little calendar graphic thanks to, again, Remco. As we see, following today's Australian Grand Prix at Melbourne, we will be back at Suzuka in 2 weeks' time on March 17th, followed by Bahrain Grand Prix, obviously at Sakhir, on March 31st, and then the streets of Jeddah on April 14th, going back to Sepang on April 28th for the Malaysian Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix around the streets of Montreal on May 12th, the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola on June 9th, the British Grand Prix on June 23rd at Silverstone, the Belgian Grand Prix on July 7th at Spa-Francorchamps, the Hungarian Grand Prix on July 21st at, obviously, Hungaroring, the German Grand Prix at August 4th, this year at Hockenheim as opposed to last year's Nürburgring race, the Italian Grand Prix, obviously, at Monza on September 1st, the United States Grand Prix on September 15th, this time around backed at COTA, Singapore Grand Prix on 29th of September, obviously around the streets of Singapore, and then Abu Dhabi October 13th at Yas Marina, followed by the season closing, as it should be in my opinion, at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix on October 27th.
Good tracks at hand, and ones for FS2 drivers to definitely be on the lookout for. Sepang, as you said, makes its ground return. It replaces what used to be Indianapolis, as it's also changed into Circuit of the Americas and moved to a later date in September. The German Grand Prix switches venues from the Nürburgring to the Hockenheim Ring, come through August, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the races that we get to watch through this season. We still have got the Australian Grand Prix to go before we move swiftly on to upwards in the Pacific Ocean in Suzuka. But with that in mind, that is in 2 weeks' time. Also in mind, the rest of the the rest of the GPVWC parade in Melbourne still continues, as coming up on Thursday at same time, 7:30 GMT. The broadcast for the Formula Sprint 1 will kick off here at Melbourne, and then over into next week. Here on Tuesday, the 10th of March, it will be the debut for the Super Lights, and then it's over through onto Thursday, the 12th of March, for the Super League as well. So if you love watching here the Formula Sprint 2 coverage, then I highly recommend you go on and tune to the rest of the championships, because they're a lot of fun and you get different tastes of racing, I think. And there's always one for you, I think, which is nice.
Yeah. Not every race has as much chaos as FS2 did in the first race. Not every series has as many races as FS2 does. For example, FS1 and FS2 not only, they have 2 races per round, and Super Lights and Super League have 1 per round. So, yeah, different cars, different everything really, other than the tracks. You might find something for yourself if you search deep enough into GPWC, you know.
And if you too want to get involved and race in our series, feel free to join through our website down below to create an account and sign up, and also join our communications Discord server as well for all of the information on where we race. So FS2 is the entry level, followed to FS1, Super Lights, and then Super League. And if you're new to Simracing or R-Factor 2, or you just want to try your hand in it, we've also got the Academy series, which every other week, similar to the series that will also take place here at Albert Park. That will be at the 9th of March 2026 as well. So yeah, feel free to tune in, and if you just want to watch, then we're very happy to have you here. 14 laps upcoming, and with the reverse grid in mind, my question for you, Lorenzo, is who do you think will win this time round? Or is it still too hard that you cannot put your money on it?
Nope. Well, you'll have to wait for that answer as we go on to our splash screen. Remco, pretty please. Yeah.
Yep.
Right, we're back.
I bring my question back to you, to Lorenzo. My apologies for that. But who do you think will
Still too hard to call. I think it's going to be too hard to call for the entirety of the season unless there's a massive shake-up in the lineups. But I just don't see that happening at this point in the season, even though it's only just starting. But yeah, as I said, it's still too hard to call, especially with the reverse grid. And, you know, the front runners now all bunched up together in the back. Even some of the ones that finished further back because of, well, misfortune in the first race. And now you got the likes of Dan Hayek and Fai Youngstra and Kasper Kuritz close to the likes of Ben Skinner and Philip Chewinski and Jonas Karola. So they're going to be duking it out in the back. And if we bring up the grid order, you will see what I'm talking about. Amir, please take over.
Rafael Aram takes over through reverse grid pole position, followed by Jakub Tanasco in second, Eamon Asabir for third, and it's Juho Soponen for McKenna Racing. That's an all-Irish team, second row. How nice. Samuel Slavev into fifth from HCO with David DeVries for VMS Nets in sixth, Mark Salagi for Killer Racing seventh, and Andrea Kinaya completes her through to the top eight for Frechenera. Justin Van der Smissen follows down by his teammate in 9th with Mika Kimi into 10th. It is the All Fox Esports row of Magnus Ockenhag and Christian Glamsetter. Magnus 11th, Christian 12th. Philip Savinsky doing for P13 with Jonas Korala in 14th, and as Ben Skinner, the race winner, he's the one that's going to be starting in P15. Jonas Leppe is the one that does not have applied the reverse grid rules, so he's 16th, followed by David Yunt in 17th, Dan Hijek in 18th, Kasper Kurtz in 19th, and Alfie Dunley from McManus in P20. Outside of the P20, it is Hansko Mebus that ran out of fuel. He'll be starting for 21st. Amir Hazik in 22nd, followed behind that is Leila Petrelli in 23rd, with Craig Patterson for priority 1 in 24th. Tice Youngster for Emerald Overdrive in 25th, with Victor Burnett in 26th. And Eric Brenna for Hunter Birch in 27th, with Alfie Denley in McMaster Motorsports. He will be starting in 28th. The final row occupied by Mihajlo Vincetovic for SD Racing in 29th. Manamani Kandan for GPVWC Academy. He is the sole driver in that team in 30th. And into Park, welcome to GPVWC. And very happy that he managed to get his issues resolved. But he will, since he did not attend qualifying or race 1, he will be starting in P31.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Andy Park manages to go through the grid. We did see him in practice, obviously doing fairly well for himself with some very good lap times, but it's not really the same driving on your own while practicing and racing against 30 other people. And he is starting at the back, so it will be interesting to see how much that Chimera Racing Team sandwich thins out, as one driver starting last and another starting first, as Andy Park seems to be starting from the pit lane instead. So not quite on the grid, completing the sandwich, but it's still going to be a sandwich of sorts, if you could say so.
It said he was on 3rd gear, I think, so he could be suffering from server issues again. Which could be really, really depressing, especially when considering the paces that he's had, and the fact that he cannot make an appearance is honestly going to be very heartbreaking, not just for us commentators, but for the Andy Park fans as well. The grid slowly starting to line up, 30 cars on the grid, and potentially one, but we'll have to wait and see. Race 2 here. Rafael has got a task ahead of him to try and keep the lead from Jakob Tanasco heading into turn 1. Who will be victorious in race 2 is a very different question for who's going to be victorious in race 1. We'll have to find out. The 5 lights are on. We're off once again here in Albert Park. Rafael has a really good start. Jakob Tanasco has to defend. Eamon Asapir tries to make the overtake heading into turn 1. It's going to be going side by side. Mace Vio still holds on through to 2nd and 4th. A good start there from Slavev. De Vries in 5th and Salagi in 6th.
Absolutely great start by Slavev, but he was helped by the fact that David Yoon did not start from the grid. He's still in the pit lane alongside Andy Park, so he was helped by that, having a bit of clean air in front of him. And he's still in P4. Oh, slight contact between himself and De Vries, but it's only barging tyres. Mashilaji is trying to push his way through into P5 as I see yellow flags in sector 1. Leila Petrelli is falling down, and we're still with 29 drivers, so we've lost 2 drivers in the meantime. Mashilaji's gone up into P6. As we said, Leila Petrelli is DNF, so we've already got our first DNF, but 2 drivers have just vanished. So we've gone from...
Juho Sopinen's gone as well.
So Juho Sopinen seems to have disconnected, Andy Park seems to have disconnected, Leila Petrelli has DNF'd, so we've lost 3 drivers in the span of just about half a lap, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. Rafael Arhem still holding on to that P1, Jakob Tanasco still holding on to that P2. We're seeing quite a lot of drivers still holding on to their starting positions, but we have also seen some climbers as Jakob Tanasco goes so wide out of turn 13. But again, as I said, we've seen so many people climbing. Hakimi up into P10 already, Skinner up into 12th, Kuritz up into 15th. Youngstra, I think, has just fallen from 19th into 20th. Hayek up into 17th. We've seen a lot of the front runners already gain a lot of positions. But again, this race 2 is shorter. Oh, Samuel Slavev so loose out of turn 1 there. And that allows David De Vries and Mark Shilajis to go through. So Slavev drops into 6th. And De Vries up into 4th now. As Slavev tries to gain back P5. He's on the inside of Shilajis there, but not alongside enough. And he's going to have to yield over to the Hungarian as we see some sort of debris. That's some sort of tire. Just about on the racing line of turn 4 outside of it, as Alex Day is another DNF as well as Leila Petrelli. So Alex Day has DNF'd in both races today.
Yep. The DRS comes over for the next lap though, so here comes De Vries up against Amir Asabir, and he's going to look over through to the inside line, probably will make the overtake before it even happens, and will do so. Rafael still leads with Tanasco in second. They were almost going side by side, approaching over through turn 11 and 12. Look at the commitment that you can see in the background there from Salagi, and look at this further back. Slavev is dropped off even further. Both of the Fox Esports going to try and make an overtake here. Oh goodness me, that is so close. Little bit of contact there between the two, and Ben Skinner also making his way through the field. He's going to try and make the overtake past Akimi, but Akimi tries to look over down to the inside against Lava.
Oh, that's Shawinski. That's Shawinski spinning in the back. And there's still smoke there. That was still. I think it's all cleared up. Faiz Yongsha is dropping down. I think Faiz Yongsha is involved yet again in all of that. So I think Yongsha and Chavinsky came together after Chavinsky was spun around. And Faiz Yongsha has DNF'd yet again. And Philip Chavinsky will DNF as well, as he got no front left tyre. He can't continue on like that. So Philip Chavinsky got a podium in the first race, is now out of the second race. And he was started as one of the championship contenders at the start of the season and during pre-season testing. This is going to be detrimental immediately starting the season for him. Oh, he just lost it on his own.
He lost it.
Oh
my word! And that was a contact with one of the Emerald Overdrive drivers. I think that might be Hijack. I think it might be.
No, that was Faiz Yongstra.
Youngstra.
It was Faiz Yongstra.
It was Tyson Youngstra who's battling with Mc. Oh
no!
Yeah, no. There's nowhere really for Tyson to go.
Well, no, because that's entirely on Philip Chavinsky. He's just decided to try and spin himself around to face the right way instead of holding the brakes. I mean, even if he didn't do that Faiz Yongstra. Oh, Rafael Arhem goes off and he's into the wall and he's out of the race as he's lost his tyre as well. And Rafael Arhem has started the race on reverse grid pole. That's heartbreak for the Swede there as he's out of the race, and Camera will have no points in this second race without their second driver. As no, he's still got his tyres on. At least his front tyres on. I don't know about the rear tyres. I think I did see a tyre fly off. As Ayman Asabir is dropping as well now. So something has happened to the Italian as well, as he's going all the way down. He's dropped outside of the top 20. Jonas Carola is now dropping as well. He's lost 2 positions. Oh, he's lost a tyre as well. So what is happening right now in this grid? Just in general, what is going on?
There's a lot of replays we need to see, and it's still only lap 10. Well, only got 10 laps left to go, and Savinsky still trying to make his repairs. Christian Glamsetzer looking his way, trying to make his way past Andrea. Is it possible, or will I have to battle it out with Ockenhag for P5? Ockenhag a little bit wide, without a lot for Salagi. No, he doesn't. He fends him off just at the very last minute. And then you can further back, you can see there's Salagi and Hakimi, Skinner, Denley in P10. My goodness me.
Alfred Dunley has climbed up so far in this race, and he's someone who obviously didn't do qualifying due to the grid penalty, and he didn't do well in the first race either, only P21, but he's gone up 11 positions in this race. No, he's gone up 10 positions, apologies, in this race. So absolutely lovely stuff to see from the Thai driver there, and my question is whether he can stay in that position. I do think he can, personally, as I think the biggest climber we saw there was Mani Kanda. He's gone up 13 positions, up into P17. So the Indian driver obviously started last season in Formula Sprint 2 with ST Racing, now representing the Academy team after not finding a driver this year. He could be on the verge of points here. He's gone up into P16, as I think that was Amir Hazik is dropping down, and I think we saw Mihailovic and Tievic drop down for a split second as well. Jonas Carola is still in the pit lane. Ayman Asabir is still in the pit lane. Philip Chavinsky is still in the pit lane. They're being lapped by now. I think Chavinsky is going to be 2 laps down. No, he's back on track. And I'm surprised Philip Chavinsky wasn't black flagged, because he did continue on without his front left tyre.
No, he went to the pits immediately. That is allowed. It's just only if you continue on through after your first attempt in the pits, that's why you'll be black flagged. But no, Savinsky did that completely within the rules. I'm very happy that the Polish driver does continue. De Vries is the one that's going to lead the way, though. He's about 1.2 seconds away from Tanasco and Van der Smissen. If he has him on his cars, then that's a potentially be a VMS 1-2. What a way to start their season off like this.
Absolutely, but Van der Smissen will have to get past Jakob Tanasco first, who seems to be doing very well for himself in his first ever GPWC race. As Magnus Åkerhaug is dropping, and I was going to mention his teammate in Christian Glomstedt, who is also in that contention, as Magnus Åkerhaug is dropping like a rock, and he's on fire, he's smoking, he's on fire, Magnus Åkerhaug. Something must have happened to him, because he was battling, I think, Max Shilagi and Ben Skinner for P6, and now he's just facing the wrong way while his car is smoking. So what exactly happened?
Okay.
It wasn't Max Shilagi who made contact with him. And what exactly happened?
Let's have a look.
Was it another bomb draft?
Let's have
It was another
yeah, it
bomb
was.
draft. Oh, that happened right in front of Ben Skinner. He was lucky to avoid it.
If you like one small bump and that's just all it is, it's just the slightest nudge of not being in center. You can bump draft them, but with the DRS it's just so unstable. And yeah, the fact that Åkerhaug just completely spun like that is just super unfortunate. This is over with Ben Skinner coming over for turn 12. This is using over through the slipstream to, I think, trying to make an overtake of the car ahead. Is that
He makes the overtake.
He does make
He
the
has gone up
overtake.
into P6, so he has overtaken Max Shilagi there, and that was Alfie Denley off into the growl, but he managed to save it. We did see flashes of a yellow flag while we were looking at the replays. Has anyone else been claimed by just the general
I
accuracy?
kind of want to see Eamon's replay. I want to see Eamon's replay because he's managed to fix it. That's good, but I want to see the crash that caused it earlier. As
Was
he,
it between
yeah, he
him
has
and
to slow down
Carlo?
for blue flags.
That was Shilagi again. I think that was Shilagi again. Carol just doesn't see it. Carol just doesn't see him in time on the racing line and just goes into him. Asabir did the right thing in...
He waited. He's off the racing surface, but yeah, I think sometimes when the yellow flag is on, you kind of have to be a bit aware of it. I'm curious about this thing. I'm wondering if... I think he must have lost it, I believe. I think Eamon did lose it. That's a jump scare and a half for Jonas from all the cars ahead, because the peripheral vision is so limited when you have another car ahead of you, and he's got more than one as well. He's got 3, so that did not make things any more easier for Jonas. I mean, the nice thing though is Corolla, Servinsky, and Eamon, despite losing one wheel, they're still continuing, which is hats off to them. Seriously,
it's
makes the overtake past Tanasco for P2.
He has. I was gonna say it's an odd one, that, because Asabia did the right thing in staying off of the racing surface and staying clear of the traffic, but the thing with that part of the track, you do take that outside curb, and quite a lot, as we saw from Carol there, to carry as much speed and keep up with the rest of the pack. So while Asabia did the right thing, in a way he also just kind of didn't. Because it's hard to call. It really is hard to call, but I do not think it's Asabia's fault, really, in my personal opinion. But I'm sure there will be people who will think otherwise. But never mind that.
Oh my word!
Christian Glomstedt has gone past Jakob Tanasco before the fast chicane, and the Norwegian is up into P3. So Fox Esports, even though they're one car down, the other car is on the podium places. So I think James Knox can be ever so vaguely happy for the time being, as with half of the race gone, they are into the podium places, and Jakob Tanasco, even though he's dropped down from P2 to P4, I think he can be happy with himself for now as well. Although he's got Andrei Kinaya and Ben Skinner very close behind him, and I think Kinaya might be in striking distance already on this lap. Look at the gap they have between themselves.
8 out of 14, we're just approached past the halfway point here, and still a lot of positions up for grabs. Jakob Tanasco has done a very heavy lifting defending, as Kinalia now looks to try and overtake Jakob, but at the same time defend himself from Skinner. With Skinner using the DRS, could he make an overtake, and another one at that, to clinch P5? It's going to be very close as 2 of the green cars go side by side, still barely touching each other. A bit of a push there by Andrela, but Ben rejoins just behind the Italian.
That was, I think, Ben Skinner, I think, will be unhappy with what happened there, but I think he'll get clear of Kinania anyways, and at the end of the race it won't matter as much to him. But I think he will be right to be unhappy with what happened there for the time being, and I mean, look at the gap that he's managed to close down with the slipstream and DRS. I think he's going to be able to overtake him on the outside of turn 9. He does. Oh no, he's gonna have to cut the track because I think he ever so slightly clipped the grass before entering turn 9, and he's still clipping the grass. What is Ben Skinner doing there? I'm not quite sure. Is he trying to let Kinaya by? Because I don't think he should. He was ahead of him before going off track. So unless it was deemed as gaining an unfair advantage, which I don't think it was, then it just seemed like carelessness by Ben Skinner there, going on the grass on the straight between turn 11 and turn 9, turn 10 and 11. I can't speak for some reason today. Moving on from Ben Skinner for the time being, Johannes Lepid is chasing down Samuel Slavov, who had a good race start but is now dropping down. So both of the Mapes VOs dropping down, Tanasco less so than Slavov, and Slavov would like to hopefully stop that. Yeah, look at the positions lost by Slavov.
I was just looking, the man behind Lepid, Manny Kandan, who kept his nose relatively clean, gained the most amount of positions with 15. So incredibly clean there by the Indian driver and the solo GPVWC Academy driver at that. So he's done really well, I must say, Lorenzo, especially in these circumstances.
He has done well for himself, and we all remember how his season started off last year, and you know, it's nice to see him do well now. And one driver is also doing well is not only Ben Skinner, who's going up into P4, but Christian Glomsetter, who has overtaken Justin van der Smissen for P2, but van der Smissen has claimed back P2 immediately, and they're bumping there, and I don't think that's... Has anything happened between the two of them to cause that? I don't think it has, but I do not understand why van der Smissen was basically dooring Christian Glomsetter there. That was a very stock carish move by the Dutchman, and I think Glomsetter would be rightfully miffed about that, if I could say so, which I think will only spur on him more to try and get past. And I think that would be a fight to watch out for, as Jakub Tanasco is swerving on the straight, so seemingly Andrea Kinaya has also wronged him, as well as did Ben Skinner a bit earlier, but he's dropped down to P6 now, and he's going to have to defend from Mark Shilagi and Dan Hayek for that P6, as they're both very close to him. Mark Shilagi going to the inside, Tanasco having to move to the outside to give him space, and Shilagi up into P6, Dan Hayek now very close to Jakub Tanasco as well. So there's a bit of a Central European battle happening here between Hungarian, Czech driver and the Polish driver.
Central European battle, nice way of putting it, Lorenzo. Exiting out through turn 7 and then through over to 9 and 10, and with the DRS available for Hayek and Tanasco, should be allowed for Hayek to get himself even more closer. Here's Glamstead to try and make the overtake again against Van der Smissen, and will it stick this time? He's going to have to immediately go defensive right after the overtake, as Van der Smissen is not going to give up on P2, looking to the outside line heading to Ascari, but I don't think he's going to be close enough because Glamstetter had the DRS, and that would surely cement the Norwegian of P2.
I wouldn't go that far just yet. Van der Smissen is still very close, and we saw how close he was. He nearly bump drafted Glomsetter there, and I think he will be close enough to try and strike into turn 3 at the very least. He's got slipstream, he's got DRS, but he also does have Ben Skinner fairly close behind him, and Van der Smissen won't be close enough for turn 1, but I think he'll still be close enough to try and... Oh, never mind, they both go wide out of turn 1, but Van der Smissen's excursion was more costly, which means Glomsetter is safe for now. But I think the defending Van der Smissen has done so far has given David de Vrij big enough of a gap to run away with it a bit, especially with Van der Smissen still fairly close to Glomsetter. And even if Van der Smissen gets overtaken by Ben Skinner will be the one hunting down Glomsetter, which means Glomsetter will be too focused on defending to try and go on the offensive on Van der Vrij. De Vrij, which means David de Vrij at the moment is in prime position to win this race.
Yep, you can feel Ben Skinner breathing down Van der Smissen's neck. Casper Kurtz, meanwhile, has done a recovery and a half to break into the top 10. Just recently overtaken Akimi. Now his next move is against Denley. Out down into the inside, come for turn 11. His gate too much a bit of the curve, but still kept it straight. Still side by side between Alfie and Casper, but Casper the one comes up top. Mika joins alongside too, and you have the deer pressuring against Casper. Looks around for the outside, come for Ascari. On not be able to do so for Mika, he will still stay in 10th.
He will still stay in 10th, but Alfie Denley is still there behind Mika Hakimi. He might be able to put him back down into P11 if he gets a good enough run out of these last two turns. I don't think he has. I think Hakimi has got the better run than Alfie Denley, which I think will put Alfie Denley in P11 for the time being, as Mika Hakimi didn't get a good enough run out of the last two turns to try and attack Casper Kurich into turn 1. But I think he might be closer here for turn 3, although I still don't think close enough, as Kurich is hunting down Jakub Tonasco. And I think I would like to look at that, if whether Kurich will overtake Tonasco into turn 3, and he hasn't. So Jakub Tonasco has been defending fairly well through this race, and he's got, well, 3 laps now to try and defend his place in this top 10. He's currently 8th, but he's got 3 drivers very close behind him. I think Matthew Maple, I think he is watching this still. I think he's going to be happy with how the pole is performing here.
Yeah, he's done extremely well thus far. Ben Skinner looks his way past Van der Smissen, swings his way around for the outside with the DRS in hand, and that will punch the Orbit Motorsports Cars ticket into P3 here for race 2. A fantastic one. He's looking for a double podium here. Casper Kurtz onto the outside of Jakub Tonasco, so that's 2 Orbit Motorsports make the overtake before turn 11. Casper and Ben both on a charge here, and Jakub Tonasco still has to worry about Denley and Mika behind. Almost 3 wide, heading over down to turn 12. Mika Kimi looks up for an opening and bites it as well, and Jakub loses 2 places as a result from it.
He does, and that was a very audacious move by Mika Kimi, but it was very lovely, and he made it stick with minimal contact, I think that was, which didn't cause damage to either car, so that was very nice by the Malaysian driver. And he was overtaken by Alfie Denley, so he will have 2 laps to re-overtake him back, as obviously Denley did have the slipstream on the sort of curve straight between turns 9 and 8. Sakimi took a bit of grass on entering to turn 1 there, and I don't think he'll be close enough to Denley just yet, but I do think he will be able to strike him before the end of the race.
Only about 2 laps to go here in FS2 for Albert Park. David De Vries seems relatively unchallenged, and he's quite a gap and a half to, well, effectively keep hold of his lead. Glams at 2.5 seconds. Ben Skinner 6/10 off from the way it's looking. For that, you can just see there in the background just how far away David De Vries has been ever since he overtook Jakub Tonasco for the lead. And Glamsetter and Ben Skinner, if the way things are going, could we see maybe a one last dance between Glamsetter and Skinner to close off Albert Park? Can Skinner find a way to close it up? Is the DRS going to be enough for the Englishman to stay behind Glamsetter and maybe make an overtake come for the 3rd sector in the final lap, do you think?
I don't think Ben Skinner will be close enough to try and attack Christian Glomsetter on the final lap, I'll be quite honest. Although it does seem like I will be proven wrong. I think he spent way too much time behind Van der Smissen. 5/10. He does need 7/10 to be in DRS. He does have DRS, but again, I think if he's going to strike, he will have to strike before turn 9, because he can't strike here. He's not close enough. Although he might be close enough for turn 3.
He's got 3 DRSs as well. Yeah, outside out for turn 2. There's the 2nd DRS he's got. Glams had to note this. He's immediately taking the defensive line, and Skinner is not trying to make the overtake just yet. He's going to try and wait for turn, I think, the DRS. Oh my goodness me! Glamsetter almost loses it, but a great recovery from the Norwegian still holds in.
Again, I think if Ben Skinner is to strike, he will have to strike before the fast chicane. He's going over to the inside here. He doesn't have enough speed. I think again. Oh, Christian Glamsetter loses it. Christian Glamsetter loses it, and he's going down all the way to P4. Van der Smissen goes into P3, and Ben Skinner up into P2, and Andre Canale is there as well. So Fresh and Nera could have a top 5 or top 4 actually here. Andre Canale goes into front. He goes in front of Christian Glamsetter, and Andre Canale again. I mentioned in the first race the Italian driver, the Italian team would like some national pride, and I think he's doing so well for himself in this first race. But I think the driver who's done the best of them all in this first race, we see him up ahead, David de Vrij, and he's run away with it after Rafael Oates' crash in the beginning of the race, and he was unchallenged essentially for the entirety of the race, and he's going to be running his final turns, and he's going to be crossing the finish line as today's victor of race 2. And we see up ahead a couple of drivers who we will have to wait on a bit longer, but David de Vrij opening the season very, very well for VMS Sun Edits, a team who have been underperforming in the last couple of years, have started off the season with a 1st and 3rd, and Justin van der Smissen and his outfit will be so happy. Jakob Tenasco has dropped down all the way to P13, and I don't think we saw any other overtakes. I think Mika Hakimi was kept behind Alfred then late. He has, as I think this is the only battle left now. Mihailovic and Tiavic trying to catch our Eric Brenner, but I don't think he'll be able to do so.
Yeah, very fantastic race here. David de Vrij gets his 2nd race win in FS2. And a great one, that one for VMS Sun, and it's a great way to come in form as the Dutch outfit celebrates double podium for themselves, as Justin van der Smith and his team will clinch through 3rd place, and a great way. I think there's also being with Pratt as well, since he is Dutch too. But yep, David de Vrij takes the win here at race 2, and Ben Skinner completes through a double podium in both races as he's finished 2nd for Orbit Motorsports, surely to cement himself and the team ahead in the constructors after race 1. Justin van der Smissen completes over through to the top 3 with his great 3rd place, and Drake Kinalia overtakes Glamsetter, come through the 3rd sector to take 4th. And it's the Fox Esports for the Norwegian Christian Glamsetter in 5th. Dan Heinjek and Emerald Overdrive for 6th. Mark Salagi for Killer Racing in 7th. Casper Kurtitz 8th for Orbit. Alfie Denley 9th for McManus. And it's Mika Hakimi who completes over the top 10 for Elk International. Outside that, through to 11th, Craig Passon for Priority 1 Esports, and it's Samuel Slava that beats Jakob Tenasco, the man that started at 2nd place. He finishes as P13, just behind his teammate Samuel in 12th. Jonas Lepit in P14, Manamani Camden completes for the last point scoring position at race 2 with P15, kept out of trouble, and he gained 15 places in the process. David Young for Killer Racing in 16th, with Amir Hazik in 17th for Hub Performance, Hansco Mebus at 18th for FST Racing, Eric Brenner for Unterbert Simulation in 19th, and Mihailovic and TVH completes over through to the top 20 as he finishes in that place for ST Racing. Jonas Korala in 21st suffered through damage, same with Savinsky and Asabir, but all of them did finish to finish 21st, 22nd and 23rd respectively, with the ones that did not finish being Knight, Sokenhag, Bernat, Arim, Youngstra, Petralia and Alex Day.
Yeah, some very good racing today, obviously not a full grid, but even despite all of that, we saw some great races, we saw some unexpected results. But I think overall there's going to be quite a lot of discussions after the race, as we did see some questionable incidents. But you know, that's just the nature of FS2, unfortunately. You see some excellent racing, but you also see some quite frankly stupid incidents, and that's just something that, for those of you who are new to all of this, you'll just have to get used to that. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than amazing racing today. But enough of our words. I think we should move on and hear from the drivers and the team owners who watched their teams and drivers in action, really.
Yeah, indeed. A great race. 2 different race winners in the first 2 races, and 2 different teams as well. Ben Skinner, and it was at the end David de Vrij. So very great races from both of them. But really action-packed, full of drama, full of adrenaline and attrition. And well, if this is a sign of the things to come through Australia, then sign me up, because I cannot wait to watch for the other 15 races here for Formula Sprint 2. Never mind, as we've aforementioned, Lorenzo, go swiftly on into the interviews. I will let you nominate for who shall we interview first.
Well, I do see the McKenna racing car on the thumbnail here, and I do see that the entire McKenna Racing lineup is in the call, waiting to be called up alongside their team owner. So I say let's get McKenna on board first. Don't say oh god, just because you're a rival Irish team.
I'm not. I did not say anything. I did not say anything, and I did not say that because of that. How dare you? I will not stand for this. I will not stand for the slander.
Anyways, let's get them in. Let's get them in. Let's get the McKenna Racing folks in. Can the three of you hear us? Welcome aboard.
Yep, all loud and clear.
Very nice. I'll let Amir ask first, because I'm kind.
Oh my goodness me. Hectic race, but first of all, massive congratulations on your debut for McKenna Racing as well, and a fantastic race one. For that in mind, Philip, you got yourself your first podium here in 2026. You host up, and you were one of the biggest position gainers as well. So it was such a great race for you both in race one. So Philip, tell us through how your race was en route to the podium, and Yuho, yours en route to your fantastic points scoring position.
So I will let Yuho start first, actually. This time.
Noodles. Bad me. That's how it happened. No, well, just just a ton of luck today, but also a bit of encouragement as well. It has been a difficult week for me. I've had a bit of trips to hospital. And also, been a bit tough lately. So, yeah.
I don't know what to say really, other than I'm sorry to hear. That you're not really prepared to hear this stuff when you're commenting on virtual races, but I do hope that everything is okay with you, Yuho. Philip, I guess, would you like to take over?
Well, I guess, well, race one was pretty chaotic at the first lap, so the racing was just crazy, and I tried to move around the outside in turn 9, but I had nowhere to go. It's either slightly touch Vice or go over the curve and probably cause even more chaos in the turn 10, so, but I guess it's a podium in race one, and well, we made a small inside joke in McKenna about race 2 where I fixed the wheel in the pits, and well, never give up. That's what the one Chinese fisherman once said. At least it's a somewhat of a finish rather than a DNF.
Yeah,
That's very good, because I think we did see that incident between yourself and Youngstra. Of course, really unfortunate for you both to get involved. But how did you feel heading into the pits? Was it still just trying to get into the pits to still potentially score some points, given how much incidents there was in race 2? Was that mindset going in it, Philip?
I mean, first it was, oh yeah, I'm just gonna retire. It's probably, I saw the 163 seconds repair and I said, oh yeah, I'm probably done, I'm gonna retire. And when I was like, oh wait, let's just try, why not? Let's just go for it. Maybe something happens, maybe 7 cars retire and I get at one final point.
You could be right. I think what we've seen as well, I think that was definitely very good. But yeah, I can. What was it? 160 seconds of a repair time.
Yeah, I mean it's front wing and front left tire, so I guess that took some time for the pit crew.
My goodness me, McKenna's clearly the most overworked pit crew in the entire world. If they could replace a front wing and the suspension and the wheel in 160 seconds, that is mightily impressive. But that in mind, you two done both well in race 1, and that's punctured even with that race 1 alone, with the unfortunately come for race 2, but still very good promises from you both. Punches McKenna Racing into 5th in the standings. Philip, you got yourself a first podium, and what's both of your goals on for the season for you both?
I guess it's just to continue this with we're just getting good race ones and then not dying race twos. I mean, to be honest, my car was on the fun lap, and we know what happens with cars on fun laps in one of the races, so that's just a tradition at this point.
Just fight for everything that I need, and also, well, I want to thank also VRS and also IMB for their support as well. Same for that as well, and happy birthday to Sherry as well.
Nova, do you have any goals for yourself as well?
I mean, just as long as them two have fun on track and do what they can is all I'm looking for. It was a good result today, and I suppose made the best of a bad situation. Race 2, we don't talk about race 2. Race 1, I'm very happy with both of their results. Especially Yuhoi's very good recovery drive from P24, I think it was, from qualifying. But regardless, still a good result for both of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's very admirable that you have the fun in the driver's heart, which is all what FS2 is all about. Lorenzo, do you have any more questions before we head off?
I don't think I do, no.
Okay, thank you very much, Philip, Yuho, and Nova for your time for the interviews. Massive congratulations on your race 1, and best of luck on your season ahead for all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's us for the Mechanic group. All of them have finished at the end, 5th in the standings, 5 points, just from race 1 alone. So really goes to show just what could have been if luck was on their side come for race 2. But yeah, just it's a bit unfortunate in that regards. But yeah,
it is. But I do think next up, well, we do have 2 teams actually who have performed better than people would have probably expected them, and those teams being VMS Sun Edits and Justin Van der Smissen, and we also have Carl McManus and his driver Alfred Denley waiting for the interview. Which one would you like to get in first? Amir, you get to choose this time.
Can I take De Vries, please, if that's okay?
David De Vries is not there.
I'll take Van der Smissen. Where is he? Let me drag him. Hello, Justin.
Hey, guys.
Well, I think I can safely say this, but I don't think anyone was involved in more fights than you were come through both races, and yet you still emerged out 7th and 3rd, and that has secured yourself 3rd place in the championship. How does it feel?
Yeah, man, it feels great. I mean, especially like you said, the battles, man. I enjoyed both of the races today. It was very good, very close fighting as well, and most of all, like clean racing and stuff, and it's just amazing. And especially after the past few years that I've had in the league as well, certainly haven't gone my way. A lot of bad luck, and to finally get something that I know I can achieve, and to make that in the first round of the season just feels incredible, and I can't be more proud of me and David.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with you. It was your first podium since 2023 in Saudi Arabia, in which that was the last time you've secured a podium. Of course, this being the start of a new season as well, it really seems to be on the up for yourself and De Vries. But I do want us to talk through the different fights that you've been involved in, because even though they felt a bit the same, there feels to be a bit of a difference between fights that happen in race 1 and fights that happen in race 2. Did you feel a bit of the difference whenever you're driving, comparing yourself to different drivers, because you were involved in so many battles in both races? I think you were battling with your teammate at one point, De Vries, in come race 2. You were involved in almost in a battle with Skinner and Ockenhag, which you emerged victorious. But then if you look back in race 1 as well, there was also a lot of battles that you were involved in too.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to Jeddah, first of all, in 23, that was more of a one-off weekend during that season, where all things just went well and luck was on my side. I mean, hopefully this, what I've showed today, what we as a team showed today, can be a good benchmark for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we'll get more races like this where we can achieve what we know is in us and what we work really hard for behind the scenes as well. Yeah, coming to the fights, I mean, every driver is different, you know. I mean, in race 2, for example, I knew, I believe it was Jakob was ahead of me. I knew, like, he was in race 1, he was behind me as well, so I knew I was a bit quicker than him over the laps. So I knew I knew I could overtake him and then close the gap to David. We were looking at some options, maybe swap positions, see who has the better pace. But in the end, we both want to win. So most of the time, we just keep on fighting, but we try to work together as much as possible without interfering each other. And then, for example, Glamsetter coming in behind very fast. I knew there was no point in fighting him. So my plan was actually to let him go, then cut back behind him, follow him, maybe catch up to David again after my mistake in, I think, turn 13 or so. And yeah, then Skinner joined as well. He was really quick also. And then yeah, final lap, I knew there was not really a big chance of the podium again after those two passed. But then in turn 5, one of the two made a mistake. I believe it was Glamsetter, and I could pass him, kept the DRS, and yeah, so on, went to P3.
Lorenzo, any questions?
One entire question, in fact. Justin, thank you for joining us here in the commentary booth. My question for you is obviously in the podcast relating to predictions for the FS2 season that was released yesterday, which whoever has not seen it before, what are you doing with your life? VMS Sonadis was put in the category to be expected to be finishing in the lower midfield, and I think all 3 people involved in that podcast have gone on record to say that VMS should be doing more and should be doing better with how long they've been around. Do you think this is the year that you can accomplish that?
Well, I mean, I know we have it in us. I mean, I know David for I think over a year or 8 now. We went to school together. We did a lot of fun racing on the PlayStation stuff, Formula One and Gran Turismo and stuff. And then I got him into this league in 24 after my 23 season. And I knew in 23 we had the pace, and then 24 when David joined, he showed to be already on the same lap times as what I was doing, which is something that goes all those years back, like I said, on the PlayStation with Formula One and Gran Turismo and stuff. But yeah, those early years, especially the season in FS1, we just really struggled with setup. All the free time that I had went into practicing, focusing on the setup for us too. And the same was like last year, and last year it came a bit too late in the middle of the season. Whereas this one for now seems like we can hit the ground running in terms of the pace. So hopefully this is indeed the season where we can finally show where we belong again.
I see.
That's nice to hear. Massive congratulations on your podium, Justin, and well done on your feat. And enjoy this, and best of luck for your season.
Thank you, guys.
That was Justin. And Remco, do we have time for one more? Okay.
Oh, there's...
I'll let you nominate.
Well, no, it's tough because you've got the Orbit Motorsports drivers alongside their team boss, but you also got Jonas Kauroa, and then you got again Carl McManus and Alfie Denley, and you also got Nathaniel Scarupa and Dan Hayek, who are over at Emerald Aerodrome. So it's tough to pick, but I do think with all the buzz around them, it would be fair for the Orbit Motorsports folks to be dragged up first. And seeing as Jakub Tanasko was paired with Samuel Slav at Mapes today, I say we get him in as well, just, you know, to tag along.
Okay. That's fair.
What?
Anyways, we'll move on through to you two, though. Casper, a decent start through to the season. Unfortunately, your recovery in race 1 was a bit hindered by the incidents, but you still did your absolute best. How did it feel driving back into FS2 after a while?
It was good. Good to be back and to get that first race out of the way, and to finally get that penalty out of the way as well, so I can actually do qualifying and not start from the back where all the chaos is.
It's really hard in races like Albert Park to really start from the back row, and what we have seen come through, the first few lap instances. Were you a little bit glad during that aspect a bit that you weren't involved in the front of the pack because of the incidents that we've seen with Youngster and company?
Apparently Philip was the one that killed Youngster as we were in VC.
Oh
and we
no, I meant
after.
race. I meant in race 1, not in race 2.
Yeah,
I think race 2
I
is
meant
more
race 1 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently Philip was. I don't know. I haven't looked it over. I don't. Yeah, apparently Philip or Ty said it was him, but I don't know. Apparently it was really 50-50. Yeah, but race 2 was interesting as well with some of the incidents.
Yeah. We're curious because I don't think we saw the replay, but was there an incident between you and Eric Brenner in race 2 which made you drop off?
No, it was in race 2. It was, I think, Alfie tapped me around, but then pushed me back forward. So yeah. But race 1, Eric did. Apparently, Eric didn't have force feedback, so I don't know why they were driving. To be honest, if you have that kind of issues, there's no point in being a danger on track. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, Eric did a dumb mistake, hit the wall when I had like 3/10 of a second to react, and obviously not really enough time going that speed. So I lost my front wing and spent like a minute repairing at the pits.
Samuel, over to you, both as team boss and as driver. How did the race feel for you in both aspects of your sides?
I'll start off as a team owner. Pretty happy Ben got P1 and P2. Casper really maximized what he can do with the conditions that occurred, like getting spun out, hit, and whatever else. As a driver, I'm actually really... okay, I'm not cuss. I'm really surprised since I haven't driven in a very, very long time, and I just started practicing today. That was my only practice. I qualified well in terms of me currently, and then I've lost my touch in race pace for in racecraft for sure, because it was hard for me to overtake. But overall, I think I scored decent points for myself, but I think I could have done much better in race 2 if it wasn't for Magnus Hockenhaug and Alfie Denley half spinning me in turn 4.
Lorenzo?
No, I don't feel like asking anything anymore.
Oh, that's fine. You two, both in mind, it's been the first race. Caspar, I know you hadn't had your, I think, proper chance yet to showcase your talents this season, and Samuel, I think it's the same case for you as well. But what are your both goals for this season as individuals, and for you, Samuel, as team boss?
Start off first.
Okay. Driving wise, I want to get my first win. I feel like Suzuka's a really good place to do that because I've always been really strong there. Even in my first year, I was on pace to get a podium, then crashed, and then race 2 from last to like 4th, I think. So yeah, Suzuka's my favorite track besides Sibylla, which is also on the calendar, I believe. So I think I can get a win in Suzuka, and season-wise, I don't know. Ben has a really big gap in the championship, but there's a long way to go, and everything can happen. So maybe, like, of course, the goal is winning it, but we'll see.
Samuel?
So Suzuka, yeah, I'm expecting a good result now that Casper doesn't have a a penalty anymore for sure. I'm expecting both drivers to be top 5 realistically. And then for the whole season, of course, to win the championship, as we said before. And as a driver, continue to build off of what I had today. Practice, start practicing earlier, and then work on my racecraft a bit more because that's what I'm lacking a lot currently. And yeah, just build upon that.
Understand. Thank you very much for your time for the views, and best of luck for you, Casper and Samuel, in your season. And all my best wishes.
Thank you, Amir.
Thank you.
Okay. I think you're tired, so I think we'll call it for quits. Though, any final closing thoughts?
No, none.
Thank you all very much for watching here for Formula Sprint 2. We've had, after what has been a very long time of waiting, we have finally managed to finish our first race of the season. Ben Skinner emerged victorious in race 1, and David De Vries back into the winner's step into the podium as he won in race 2. That is all for here. We're going to go back with more exciting racing as we continue on forth to the next round into the championship, which is in round 2 in about 2 weeks time. We hope to see you there, but until then we've got more exciting action then, as I've said mentioned. 5th of March the FS1 is where it kicks off, and then over to next week the 10th of March is where you can catch the Super Lights, and it is the Super League the 12th of March. So yep, feel free to tune into these ones as well. The Academy Series will continue in full force come for the second round in Albert Park as well. And for those in the Formula Sprint 2 fans, you can tune us in on the 17th of March 2026, where me and Lorenzo will be back here once again as we cover the Japanese Grand Prix, as we tend over to Suzuka one more time. But until then, I've been Amir Oates. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you at Suzuka. Goodbye.
Thank you.